And we are back with the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup Grand Finals presented by McDonald's North Texas. There's the new trophy ready out for the Valorant champions. This is probably my most anticipated match of the entire tournament. It's Fisher College. It's Northwood University. Two of the most fearsome names when it comes to collegiate Valorant. I'm just so psyched. I'm pumped. I've been casting over these teams for such a long time, and to have them meet each other one more time for the last battle of the semester, of the school year, it only feels right. Now, Artie, we know some of the accolades, some of the championship titles, but what is the most notable there for Northwood?
I mean, personally, we all talk about how there's this dichotomy between playing and competing from your home stadium or your home and then going to a LAN event and competing. But there's a whole different story and element that's added in when you don't just go to a different LAN, a different state, but when you travel to a different country to represent not only your school, your game, but an entire community of gamers from the United States, that is a completely different level of pressure being mounted onto players. And to come out successfully in that situation, Northwood's hats off to you guys. I've followed you through Twitter and like vicariously lived this journey of watching you go the distance, so to speak, through all this, to have only lost 2 games in the career of your guys' current program. So 54 games and only 2 were defeated. That is ridiculous. That is a almost borderline unattainable record because you guys are just going to continue to make it go higher. I am thoroughly impressed, and I'm excited to see what you bring to the table today. Hopefully you don't go 52-3 as of today, because you guys are currently undefeated as of this LAN right now.
Thinking of that monstrous record, all I can say is now that's hype. And speaking of it, we have our special guest. It's the hype man himself. It's Paulie Hype.
Hi, what's up? I'm so happy to be here, you know, on the desk. I'm so used to hosting, but, you know, I wanted a different path for myself. I look like Mega Mind right now.
You know, well, thank you so much for joining us on the desk. Before we talk a little bit more about the teams, can we get I'm doubling down right now because I love Valorant. Can we get 20 seconds of hype?
20? I don't know. It's a bit too long, but I guess we can. No, that's very long. Okay, woo! Woo! All right, everybody, I want to hear the crowd get wild. I want some 20. We'll go down to 10. 10 seconds of hype. Woo! All right, woo! All right, woo! 1. I want to hear the crowd shake.
Yeah!
2. Woo! 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 3. Woo! Woo! 5. Woo! 6. Woo! 7. Woo! 8. Woo! 9. Woo! 10.
Woo! Now that's hype.
That's hype.
Someone saved me.
Now that's hype.
Now that's hype.
That's hype.
Anyways, we have a Valorant game that's going to happen in a few moments. I don't know. I kind of got lost in the sauce there.
Yeah.
So, Fisher College, also an incredibly strong team. We've seen them at CECC East. And wait a minute. What is this? Are you an imposter? Are you a fake? It's a fake. That's not Paulie Hype. That's Gompers.
What's up?
What is this?
Paulie, I can explain.
Better than me, Gompers.
Paulie, I can explain.
What is this?
I saw you, and
You have a beard?
listen. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little jealous. I decided to steal your persona because I wanted to be Paulie Hype for a day.
You are the best Paulie I have ever seen. Well done.
Thank you very much.
All right. I want everyone on the desk to do this with me real quick. One move. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Woo! I'm gonna get the Paulie Hype
I
meal
didn't know
now.
what in the McNuggets was happening.
You got to get the Paulie Hype meal.
He was like, I need everyone on desk to do this. I'm like, do what?
Everyone, make sure you're going to your local McDonald's. Get the Paulie Hype meal. It's a quarter pounder with extra cheese. I believe it is a large fry. It is Oreo McFlurry and a medium large Coke, I believe.
It's a lot of calories.
It's a large Coke. Listen, he's a lot of man. You know, he's got to energize that body every day. But woo! Speaking of energy, there is a game. There's a game. I forgot. Anyways, we do have 2 of the strongest teams in the region, in North America, when it comes to the collegiate scene, Northwood and Fisher. I just want to run down some of the names that you'd find on Northwood University. Darkest, Dip, Benji, Ali, and Ferbsa. These are guys who are running it down inside that Tier 2 scene. Gompers, you know that very well. Can you tell us what exactly we can expect from them?
Well, I feel like obviously coming into the grand finals, you know, when we're looking at Valorant, man, it's hard because I feel like every game has its own quirk, and in itself in Valorant, in order to make it here, you have to have amazing, not only aim, but mechanics. So there's so much that you really need to work on to get to this point. And I feel like what we're looking at for this matchup in particular, I'm thinking we're going down maybe even double OT. I think this is going to be a very, very long game if we're looking at it.
I mean, taking a look at the path from Northwood University, not a single map dropped. Blinn College, one of my personal favorites. Shout out to Teague. Got a crush on his breach. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Also defeating Winthrop 2-0. No problem at all, but a little bit of a difficult path in terms of Oklahoma Christian University. They find themselves on the upper echelon, but I just want to get some predictions here. Chicks, Artie, do you feel that this is going to go the distance similar to how Gompers is feeling?
You know, I'd say it's probably very likely. I mean, that Fisher matchup that we're seeing there, Oklahoma Christian was the 3 seed. It's a tough best of 3. It went into overtime 15-3 there. I see Fisher doing the exact same if they hope to beat the likes of Northwood. But, I mean, already mentioned earlier, Northwood has been on a tear. They haven't lost yet. They lost 2 games all semester. So, I mean, Fisher needs to bring everything to the table at this point. We mentioned Northwood as well. You mentioned the player list. Ferbsa, the best ranked player here on that side of Northwood in the entire event. There's a lot at stake, and there's a lot of talent between these 2 teams.
Without a doubt. Artie, what are you feeling?
Okay, so I'm going to be... I'm not just biased towards the Broncos. I'm biased positively towards Northwood. I mean, like, there are times where as a caster and commentator, not as an analyst, I'm like, I have to root for someone else because I like to stir the pot and theoretically throw out there into the universe that you might lose. But in this instance, your guys' director, Cody, is someone I look up to a lot. I've actually gone to him when I've struggled in the past with problems. It's helped me out a lot. So I'm actually going to be rooting for Northwood here. I mean, if I could vicariously live through their adventures on Twitter, I'm going to vicariously live through it here on the analyst desk, and I'm going to feel every moment of, like, biting my nails, theoretically speaking. I'm not going to do it because we are hand models up here for our sauces. But I will be up here rooting for you guys, but if you lose, do it with grace. That's all that I ask.
Seems fair enough. Now I think it's time to go into our saucy predictions. I picked up Honey because I hurt my throat while yelling, and I think this is going to be a sweet match regardless of who comes out on top. Man, I love Valorant. Jixla?
You know, I think this match in particular, it's going to be sweet and sour. It's going to be back and forth. At the end of the day, Northwood has been undefeated. They just won in Rocket League. Dare I say they win another one here in Valorant. It's going to be different. There's going to be sweet moments. There's going to be some mistakes on the field, but I'm ready to see Ferbsa pop off.
I think we need... Are you hungry?
Huh? What?
No, he's just got issues.
Okay, that's valid.
I'm just enjoying my saucy prediction. What do you mean? Fisher is gonna take it down. I've got some honey. I'm enjoying myself. Like, why you gotta point me out? You came out as Paulie Hype, and you're gonna judge me?
We don't talk about that anymore. It's fast.
There's also sparkles in her beard, and my monkey brain is like, ooh, sparkles.
Wait, can we look at my beard? Do I actually have
Yes,
sparkles?
you used an eyeshadow that has sparkles in it, and my eyes are just like, ooh, shiny. Okay, so my prediction for this one is actually, I'm changing it up for once. I'm going with Tangy Barbecue, and now my reason for this one is because Valorant, in my opinion, is not only like a great example of a well-rounded first-person shooter, but a horror game. If you are staring down an angle, you know in the back of your mind, you're like, if I look away right now, I'm going to get popped, and you just know it. But you have to, like, something pulls your attention. You look away, and then all of a sudden, it's a knife in your back, or someone instantaneously your headshot and you jump a little bit in your chair. That's what tangy barbecue does to you. That little bit of vinegar bite it has, it creeps up on you. You get that sweet barbecue flavor in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you're like, why is my tongue going numb?
Yeah. You know, I agree with that. I think Valorant is a scary movie. I think I am going to go with, though. I'm going with Ranch, and the reason why it's blue. And Fisher and Northwood, yes, they're both blue, but the lighter color is Northwood. I'm going Ranch because Northwood, they've been dominant so far. They have been the champions of the Red Bull Campus Clutch. This team is, you could consider them the world's best team, I mean, coming into collegiate. So it's going to be hard for Fisher. I do believe in them. So, but I'm putting my Ranch down, and I'm saying it's going to be a Ranchy game.
I can't look
Insightful,
in the face.
sensational. We can't look at each other, so we might as well look at the main stage where our players are going to walk out for the game.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for your grand finals in Valorant, let's bring out your starting lineups. As your number 1 seed, please welcome Northwood University. Ollie, Benji, Dip, Darkest, Ferbson. And their opponents, the 2 seed Fisher College. Dory, Caloric, Rex, Tuzi, Loven. Now, welcome back to the stage to facilitate the pre-match showdown. Your host, Paulie Hype.
Yeah. Let's go. All right, so we are back once again at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. We have the 1 seed in Northwood taking on the 2 seed in Fisher. Please, team, send up your representative for the commencement handshake. Come on over. Come on up to the front. Come on up. All right, Northwood, number 1 seed here. One final word over here to Fisher before we get going in Valorant.
You're going to be easy. Free.
Ooh-wee. I love that. That's the first bit of trash talk we had today. I like that. All right. Respectable, though. Fisher, number 2 seed. You're coming back here. You're going against the 1 to try to take home the trophy in the championship. Last words over here to Northwood.
Good luck. Y'all are going to need it.
All right, so the 2 seed versus the 1 seed, commencement handshake, and take your stations. It's time. Real quick, though, let's make some noise. We're about to start Valorant. Whoa! May Madness presented by McDonald's, North Texas. Casters, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this. A full weekend of gameplay, now 1 best of 3 left to rule them all. I'm Catnator, that's Ash Cast, and we're going to take you through it.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to this one, Kat, because it's Northwood versus Fisher College. A rematch for the days, because we saw them at the Red Bull Campus Clutch USA Finals, and what a matchup. That best of 3 ended up 2-1 in the favor of Northwood, but that's the number 1, number 2 seed here in the States now, going head-to-head here for CECC.
Yeah, number 1 and number 2 for a reason, right? They are the top dogs of their regions. It is a battle of the North and a battle of the East in Northwood and Fisher College. The CECC East Regional being won by Fisher. They did not drop a map at that event. And when it comes to Northwood, they don't know how to drop a map. The last 21 maps they've played have all been victorious.
It's absolutely insane. I feel like Northwood is definitely in a league of its own, to be honest, here within the collegiate scene. It's undeniable at this point. And Fisher, they're one of the teams to be in the top to go head-to-head up against them. But the gap is still definitely there overall between Northwood and collegiate as a scene. And I think that these teams have been starting to get closer. You can see the gap starting to close with other teams being able to take maps off of them, such as St. Clair's, such as like Mizzou. But this is the matchup that we've got to talk about, right? It was a tight series the last time these two faced off against each other, and they haven't seen each other since. Some roster changes also going out there for Fisher, where they did end up losing out on CECC and Ming, replacing them with 2Z and Rex Skater, the new IGL.
Yeah, exactly. I love that point as well. The new IGL coming into this semester, and they did not skip a beat, to be honest. Still looked very good. When it comes to win record on this semester, 54-9 in maps. So while they have dropped a little bit more than Northwood, who on this semester are 52-2, still pretty successful. Like, as you mentioned, that gap is incredibly narrow. And when we talk about these teams being the 1 and 2 seed, when we talk about them being a league above the rest of the competition, that really does show, right? When we look at Northwood in the North, 1 Red Bull Campus Clutch, 1 internationally, right? So not just the U.S. won the whole thing. They won CVAL North Winter. They won the Midwest Regional. They won CVAL North in the spring. And they won NECC Valorant Champions in the spring as well. But of course, on the other end of things, dominating the East, as mentioned, is this Fisher College side, winning CVAL East in the winter, winning the spring this year, winning CVAL East in the spring, winning the NECC Valorant Championship, and then as well, winning in Tier 2.
That's absolutely true. And I think that a good point to touch back on as well is, all things considered, although Northwood are still looking really good, and like you mentioned, Fisher still on top of their game with those changes, it's that synergy. It's the amount of time that you've been able to build that chemistry together, right? And with Fisher, the fact that they're still showing up at this level with 2 new players added into their roster during this past semester, I think speaks volumes. You just give this team a little bit more time to gel, and we could be seeing like OTs back-to-back here with Northwood.
Yeah, very much so. And when we look at team stats over the weekend, specifically kills, assists, survivability, and trade percentage, the highest on the weekend goes to Fisher College in their team. Out of the top 11 players throughout this event, 4 for Fisher College sit in that top 11. So being able to consistently be there for each other, to trade each other out, to consistently execute as a unit is quite impressive for them. When it comes to Northwood, we get a little bit heavier on individual stats. The mechanics of this team ends up being so much above everybody else. First, the top-ranked player when it comes into this matchup throughout the weekend has the highest ADR of 195, has the highest kill per round with 1 every round, has the second highest headshot percentage at 32%, and the highest kill-death ratio of 1.77.
So true. And something that we got to think about here with Northwood as well is when they face off against each other, I'm pretty sure in that matchup, Ferbza earned himself an ace. I believe it was 2 aces within 3 rounds or something like that. That was absolutely insane. Definitely a player to look out for. But you've also got to look out for Ali on Northwood. That controller player, huge as far as synergizing, especially on the Omen pick. Paranoia, really great to set up for those plays. Help Ferbza actually be the one to be able to go in, and he's always there for the trade.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about this weekend, right? These teams double dipping just a little bit, playing their CVAL matches as well, both moving forward now into the round of 16 in that event. And of course, the grand finals here today. When it comes to last series, the semifinals earlier this morning, now to get them here. Northwood clean 13-6, both maps against Winthrop on Haven and Lotus. On the other end of things, though, Fisher played a grueling series. A 13-10 for map 1 on Lotus, a 13-9 on Haven, and a 15-13, an overtime win to get here on Pearl.
It is absolutely insane how tight the series have been. And I think something that we also have to consider is the fact that both these teams have a really good amount of LAN experience. And that's why it's like, okay, a lot of people, they talk about those LAN jitters, how that can affect the synergy, how you perform on the stage, but that is nothing new to Fisher or Northwood.
Right, like we talk about the fact that the lights are bright. It's very difficult to come into a historic esports venue such as this one, the stadium in Arlington, to look at the crowd in front of you, to hear all the noise. This is nothing to these players, right? They've gone international. They've left the country and won on the biggest stages. They're not new. They're not new to this in any sense. Yeah, we see you. And,
we
the
see
crowd's
you,
going to see you in a
we
moment.
see you. No, but that's a really, really good point, is that although they both have all that LAN experience, like you said, just having that edge up being at an international is like a completely different kind of beast as well, with the travel involved and just everything. So many more eyes on you as well across the globe. But we got to focus back in here today for the CECC May Madness Grand Finals here for Valorant, presented to you guys by McDonald's North Texas, because that, at the end of the day, sure, you're guaranteed a second place spot regardless. Sure, you're guaranteed that prize money, but you still want to take the title and defend.
Yeah, there's some bit of bragging rights, right? It's, of course, a $2,000 difference between that first and second place prizing, but it's the fact to hold the trophy. We see Northwood at CECC before. They were in Atlanta. They made it to the grand finals. They lost 1-2 against NJSU. You don't want to do that again. No. Seeing that moment right there, a 13-9 loss for them on Haven, to stare that moment in the eyes and now have to get up on the stage here at another year of CECC, look at the same scenario and say, I'm going to overcome that defeat. That's got to be in the heads, right?
It definitely has to be. And you have to consider the fact as well, do you want to be you do want to be the first team really to take a series off of Northwood is the big thing. Is Fisher College is that team that we are looking towards to take this opportunity, because when they did face off against each other last time, went all the way to that third map that ended out in a 13-11 loss there for Fisher, just a couple rounds away. So this match here, Kat, it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, let's talk just a little bit here before we jump in to map number 1. Let's talk about map pools, right? Looking at a best of 3 series, I don't really feel there's anywhere that either of these colleges can't go. They're so successful on every map. They both have the same permaban. They both consistently take Fracture out of the equation. And when it comes to win rates on any other map, it is incredibly dominant. You don't drop below 75% for either of these teams.
Definitely not. And even, I remember I was casting Northwood not too long ago, and they've only played Lotus about like 2 times at this point, right? And even on a matchup where they had never played Lotus at all, didn't have their team composition set out, still absolutely stomped in the server. And that just speaks volumes. And now we know that they also have that all ready and set to go. But I'm also looking forward to seeing which map that we're getting into first.
Well, the question to be answered. We're going to start on Vine. It'll be Northwood's pick for map number 1. I remember a conversation on Twitter for Fisher, I believe it was Tuesday, very excited to have Vine back in the map pool, rejoicing even to have it back in the map pool. So I don't think they're too stressed about being here.
Definitely not. Vine is such a fun map, and I actually love that it's actually coming in here for this. And right now, what we're seeing on the side of Fisher College, they're going for that very standard double controller setup, not going with the Astra instead, gonna elect for the Brimstone, not so much that old bind meta, but look at how innovative Northwood is being right now. I feel like I haven't really seen a Harbor being pulled out in bind. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ali is going to be putting out into this server.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see the Harbor Viper combination. It's been very successful for teams on Pearl. It's been very successful to teams on Lotus. Now to bring it into Bind. I think that's a great factor when we look at new agents coming into the game. It gives us a chance to explore new opportunities, new lineups when it comes to agent compositions, where without that map coming out, you never get the change, right? There's no reason to swap the meta on Bind if it's been working, but it's been out the map pool long enough that we've innovated past where we originally were, that we can come back in with a new meta. The question is, will it work out?
It's also the slight map changes, right? I know they're not necessarily super drastic, but the main one that I'm looking for is the TP outside of Showers over towards that A side. I think that moving that teleporter a lot closer to that Showers entrance gives a lot more opportunity for teams to go for a blitz pivot from the B side over towards A in a last second kind of decision, because getting that entryway into Showers is a lot easier in that sense. You can really rush in. But to start off here on the pistol round, Northwood University here on the attacking side first, Kat. The stack up over towards this B side, already a lot of control. 2 players in towards Hookah, maintaining that, and the wall from the stage is always so strong on the pistol. No! There's
the wall over to start it out. We are wasting no time in this series. Arya through the toxic screen. Logan to answer first. Reskater will come right back. The defense incredibly strong thus far. Ash mentions the stack up, and it's incredibly successful for this team. It's a 4-1 advantage early off the pistol. The wall over did not reap the reward for Northwood. Just Darkest left, and yeah, kind of knows about it. Can't win this pistol. I'll try to see what I could grab in terms of frags to close out this round, but it most definitely will be Fisher College up first.
Such a huge risk to be held, right? You got those players in Hookah that just get to jump down outside, and it's frags all across the board. But that's how it tends to go when you do fast pistol starts. So in the first round of the matchup is It's a lot of team fighting. Things do get scrappy, but Darkus still has to try to get as much value as possible, maybe to bolster his own buy, his own utility going into the next round. But with that guiding light out, it's no secret where he's hiding now.
Yeah, absolutely. We all know how expensive util players' kits can be. Learn to buy light shields, buddy. So definitely a couple more frags wouldn't hurt anybody. Won't be the case, though. TC will pick it up, and Fisher College keep 4 alive, and more importantly, take the pistol round.
Buy up now, going into the hands of Fisher. And right off the bat there, since Logan earned those 3 frags into that last round, electing to go with the Phantom Light Shield. And the thing is, I know that we've seen a bit of that shift over trying to have a few more rifles with light shields onto your team to have a stronger bonus as long as you can carry them over, but it's also bind, and those SMGs, they go crazy.
Yeah, look at those close quarters. You're able to sneak out. Man, they can rip you apart, especially defensively holding these choke points. Very early guiding light's going to come out of showers. That's early information for the Fisher side. Clark up first, and the SMG's doing work. The Stinger going to find value early. Logan trying to wall out the TP. An awkward angle to be in. But that wall will get them right out back to safety with the rest of the team. They'll take the orb shower. Firmsa will pick up a nice look over the top of the wall. Just a pixel of Dory's head was all I needed.
4v4 situation. Trying to scale up, work into the B side here for Darkus. Find maybe some sort of information, some timing. But the hard anchor is really nice as well. And thinking that the B side might be weak, you see the mid-round calling now coming through here for Northwood on their eco. The spike now shifting over towards that B side. Still Ali over on A, looking to keep some pressure. One rotation now being drawn back to have equal standing here for the defenders. But hopefully that attention might be just enough. But I love the positioning from Fisher. They're playing really far back, ensuring that they can play that retake if they do get overwhelmed. Very much so prepared to play their lives.
We'll look for the classic, found nothing into the Phantom of Logan, ripped apart. 2C will find Darkus as well. The B-side anchor successful thus far, going to back up and allow for the Brim to walk into space. Doesn't even need the help. Forget it, 2C will take everything from elbow. A 3K for the Viper, a second round for Fisher, 4 guns walking into the bonus.
Really solid bonus round here for Fish, especially with that Phantom in play here, and all the tight angles that you get to play onto this bind map. But rifles across the board, of course, to come out from the side of Northwood. I like how they did slow things down in that last round, always on that eco, trying to find as much value as possible. But now it's almost just as imperative to do so, right? You don't want to run that risk of getting bonused because anything can truly happen here. Bind is a crazy map, but I really like that long control that Fisher go for early on into this bonus round, denying that long vision where they know Northwood would have the advantage with their weapons in pocket.
Much slower round here.
That res is up.
That's what happens when you grab frags. That's
True.
what happens when you grab ult orbs out of shower as well.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just such a huge piece of utility, especially going into a bonus round where you have a strong one to contest with. Very much so a winning factor there if the res does get utilized to turn the tide.
Early info going to come out. Just trying to get that boom bot down. Just a couple tags, nothing too worrisome for Clark, so we'll be able to get out back towards that A site. Northwood yet again are going to do this 3-2 scale. This time it'll be that heavier B lean. They've got a lot of space. They're through this wall already. It's going to be timing here on the contact for Dip. Might be in his favor. Dory's walked away. Tube can't quite pick up the frag, though. Should have been easy for Dip, and the guiding light might throw things askew. Dory will find one, Logan another, and Fisher have a good chance at this bonus now. First, we'll get back off the movement. Has been able to get the spike, but has lost his teammates over onto the site. Both players going to fall. Ali's in his sight. Has picked up one. Trying to recover this round. Utilize the cascade to clear off room, and Plant's going to go down. Chance for the post as well, but 3-on-2, a 4-on-2 now, the retake. Rez mentioned and activated here for the bonus.
What a tide turner as well. I like the aggression coming out from Ali, trying to catch someone or multiple people off guard here, but going to be punished for it. There's just too many numbers to deal with. Yeah,
that's a hard one. Chance to try to take more space in a defender spawn to try to make it more winnable, but unfortunately, if you get caught out, it does not make it worth it for you. First one now in a 1v4, 8 bullets.
Yeah, but this
in
is
the
who
Vandal.
you want.
Highest rated player of the event was shut down early. Dory will pick that one up. A 3-0, a bonus converted for Fisher College.
This bonus is huge. A really hot start here for Fisher College, and it sets you up so nicely with your economy. So much money in the bank now. Looking into the later part of this half here on defense, Northwood forced onto an early eco round, but despite that, I really like the Marshall pick. Okay, never mind. We don't like the Marshall pick. Ollie's just going to sell that one. I was going to say, could be really strong just to get some damage off, but they're just switching everything up, going for the stinger buy. You know how I feel about that. You get one more Elim or Alt Orb into Ferbs' hands too, and that Showstopper can do a lot of damage.
They're going to play incredibly fast contact here, try to get those stingers in. They utilize the wall. Been throwing it every round here at the screen to get it room A short. Got a nice little wave to give them some room. They have all of sight right now. How safe is it really? The player all the way stuck into shower. The Viper back to sight in addition. Chance for the plant. It's the main goal here with stingers in their hand. They've done just that. Now the post point, you have to play incredibly close to them. They've got util for lineups. This is doable.
Absolutely is doable, especially playing all these close angles, forcing into U-Haul, but the nade goes huge. So much damage, 8 health left only there for Ferbza.
A little microcosm of that satchel, forcing him back into the shrapnel damage, puts him down to that 8 HP. Clork going to pick up Ali early. The Stingers haven't found value just yet, but everything's close enough into Lamp. Clork will find another Logan now to get involved, and they're shutting this one down. The sweep and clear from Fisher College is so clean thus far. Dark is out to play with lineups. First of all, we'll throw the rocket, does get one. Will trade his own life. Darkest with it all to do, Stinger in tow, and Dory won't let that one happen either. It's 4-0 for Fisher College.
So close, but just not enough there with the weapons in pocket. Just couldn't find the frags needed to close out that round, but still keeping it very competitive on an eco in that kind of sense is incredibly important there, Kat.
Northwood, a bit slow start into this one. A team that I think has great expectations on their shoulders into this one. A team that has seen the CECC stage before and just came up short. But still, we're 4 rounds into it, into a best of 3. Lots of time.
Lots of time, but this is also a revenge arc here for Fisher College, right? So they want to show that they're up to the test, up to the medal here. And you got to look at Logan. I know the scoreboard's gone, but 7-0 is insane there for the stage player.
Yeah, absolutely so. Killers are out early. That's great util through the TP, and they'll swing 3 players in. Clark will pick that one up first, but will shoot what he can. 2C will trade it back. That is phenomenal confidence on the defense.
I know I talked about how the TPs can be utilized on attack, but it's also those plays, the quick rotations, pinch the shower control that is so common and important on Old Vine. Still the same kind of story, but it makes it a lot easier to contest and try to pinch in that kind of sense and sandwich in. But it's another post plant here for Northwood. Benji does have this elbow control for some information to relay over towards that team, but I'm looking over towards Ollie for that reckoning in this post.
Yeah, let that call out. It's all about when they pop the trigger on it. Or early throw the showstopper, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them utilize the ultimate. Killing a lot of time. 2 slow orbs, a one-way into this one. Wall just finally broken. And Fisher College still haven't been able to move a muscle. Stuck behind this one, finally going to start the retake, and that's when the reckoning comes out. So all the util in the world here for the post plant. It's been about 25 seconds. They still haven't touched the site. Clork gonna pick up one. We'll throw the rocket out. You have to get on this one now, and Darkest and Ali not going to let that one happen. He'll hold it off. Romelbo finds everything, and Northwood are on the board.
Finally, they're all on Ali into the post, the reckoning causing so much chaos onto site. On top of that, too, you already got Darkest, who's throwing up that one-way into that CT spawn, just completely delaying any potential push to even get into that elbow control, to push and buy time there for Benji to just keep that space overall. But now, we have to look into the next rounds here. Obviously, Cat, and it's still going to be a full buy that Northwood can come out with. But money is still tight on their side, so it's not exactly the best thing that you would be looking towards. So I like the slower play. The utility, I think, from both of these teams due to their compositions in a nearly mirror matchup as well, just denies so much vision early on.
Oh, Logan, what are you up to?
Say job?
Oh! The angle's so small, trusted the reaction time, couldn't quite pull the trigger fast enough. That kind of spoils the trick. It's going to be known about now. We'll break the dog, so it denies a little bit of additional information. We'll throw an orb for their troubles. That's all the Sage util, though, expended 30 seconds into the round.
Really interesting, considering that, you know, you don't have a get out of jail ability, but you use the slow in place of that. Now, already going back over towards that B side, and Logan's not able to find anything with the operator. Dip with the first.
Yeah, 2 great looks, couldn't make it happen. Northwood certainly can, though, on the attack. TUSI trying to hold things down from Cubby, cut down by the opposing controller. Northwood have sight yet again. Fisher left with 2. They're gonna try to take this retake early.
High Tide comes out here.
Whoa, that's
Plant's still not able to go down because all the pressure that Fisher's putting out. They're trying to bait out that orbital strike. Does happen. 25 seconds left on the clock here now, Cat.
Heal will come through to Ali, so we'll give them the double controller utility still, and they'll TP this one away. Thanks to the additional feet. It's a little bit faster for them to get to side as well, and they've done so now. Cascade gonna close off CT, so it's much more difficult for Fisher getting early retake this time. Guiding Light should be back around the corner here momentarily. Hope to use that one to get in, or just do it raw. Dory will walk in, we'll take down Ali yet again. They've got a chance now to play for this one. Seeker's gonna come through, give those locations away, and an ult expended for this retake. Has given the positioning. Guiding Light will clear off space into short as well. Some room to work with for these players as they make their way in towards Lamp. Awkward smoke to play around though, and Rexgator just getting spammed through it. Dory the only real chance of this one. Benji's right click has shut down his teammate. Awkward situation there with players holding down the pinch, and Benji gonna take that one home. Both kills off the Classic.
Really great bobbing and weaving here from Benji coming out. Resurrection's online here for the attacking side as well. And now, finally, Fisher pushed into an eco round. What I'm really having fun with, though, to be honest, is I know we haven't seen too much of Benji other than that last round, but what's interesting is that he's normally like that hard set, 100% KJ main. So seeing the Sage pick now going into Bind, I think also speaks to a little bit of maybe what this collegiate meta is leaning in towards. Very much so that map control with the controllers once again, and ensuring very safe plant opportunities there on the attack.
Absolutely. That wall can be so versatile, and we've seen that already early into this game. Early space up short for Fisher College. They'll TP away off of the lack of contact. And they're going to push them forward. It's an eco here, so not much to lose. And unfortunately, not much to see either. It's a full swing yet again for Northwood. They'll take the open A site.
Look at this positioning coming out. Looking for that fast flank like you had mentioned. Dark is trying to cut it off, but again, that numbers game, you gotta fall back. You don't want to put that Bulldog into their hands.
Yeah, and absolutely will opt not to do so. We'll have the Sky in tow with them. No flashes available. Taking out a peek in this one. How far does Discipline run? That far. Felt the contact, walked away. Trailblazers just thought for a bit of time. No real danger just yet. Pinch on its way. 2 players coming through to spawn. They have the best chance of this one as Clark gonna open the door. A bit of room here, a bit of distraction from the brunt of the far side. Dory's caught off that wall though. That post-plant utility too strong to give them a lick off of elbow. As Dip gonna pick up another, shooting the lights out. All these eco players right now ran out of bullets. Logan and TUSI gonna find 2 back, and Ali with a quick trade to seal off the round.
3-4. Northwood starting to warm up now, looking to do exactly what Fisher did to them in those first 4 rounds. Maybe tie things up into this one. But I guess Fisher was onto an eco in that last. Looking over towards the ultimates that we have online, though, TUSI does have the Viper's Pit to just deny a site early if they do choose to do so. But at the same time, due to how the post plant does work, could be interesting to see that just being used into a retake situation. Meanwhile, for Northwood, they've got everything for their favorite post. That Reckoning's back online already. You got that pit too to work with.
Absolutely. They're going to use it to open the door this time. The Reckoning going to clear all of sight. Those players no choice but to back away.
There's so many
walls. High Tide to clear the space. Yeah, absolutely. Ali going to take down the first. That one coming just barely shallow of the wall, and Plant will go down.
I can't see. The players can't see. You don't even know what's going on the map here on A site at this moment. So much utility to be used, and that Viper's Pit so scary to push into, creating a really safe space there for Northwood into their post plant.
Yeah, phenomenal chain. Reckoning to give them all that room. The High Tide to solidify the extra space once it's acquired. And the Viper's Pit for the post plant. Benji walking into a world of trouble and a knife in his hands. Couldn't cut through butter on that one. Rexgator will pick it up. Ali here for some trades. Not going to happen. This team's going to walk away. Successful exit frags. 2 of them, in fact, for Fisher as they'll walk away into the opposing team's spawn to get the rifles out the round.
Yeah, I really do like that call being brought out there by Rexgator, just trying to get those exits in this situation. 2-4 now, though. Or 4-4, I should say. Math ain't mathin' for me, but
Tough.
a timeout now to be called here by Fisher College after losing all the momentum that they found in those first 4 rounds.
Yeah, and speaking of that momentum, what do you feel, Ash, is the switch up that we saw come out of Northwood that started the winning ways?
It's a lot more coordination that's coming through. They were trying to go for some of those like 4-1 lurky splits and then reclaiming that space, re-clearing after the fact. But now speeding up on their tempo as well, just using their utility to find entry positions there for Furbza to just get up and aggressive, because that is where he does shine.
Yeah.
I do also think, though, after that round that we saw Logan opping, that was kind of where Fisher started to slow down in that situation, because that's also a really expensive weapon to invest in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the nuance of it. I think 2 incredible opportunities just couldn't quite connect. And I wonder if the question here in this timeout is, all right, no funny business. We tried it. It's not going to work. It's a conversation of maybe we put it in somebody else's hands. It's a conversation of, you know, it's not for this map. We'll worry about it later. We'll see what that case ends up being. I said, I got the timeout. But yeah, it has been quite the switch. Now back into a rifle round here on round 9. A chance to bring the tempo right back, and out of a timeout, the best time to do it.
But I like this shift, though, as well. Sure, tempo might be there, but still slowing things down a little bit here for Northwood. Aside from this showers control early on, Seekers, huge opportunity there for Dip to find information. Unfortunately, the Trailblazer, though, does get shut down early. What's always really nice, though, about Ali's utility is that Cascade, I think, has just found a lot of value into their executions. Right now, sure, being used to deny any vision into U-Haul, but overall has been a big reason why Northwood has been able to scale up on towards site.
Yeah, I think for the post plan as well, guarantees the extra space and guarantees them the chance to plan. You see moments where players will look for just a quick little jiggle peek, see if I can get anything on the cross coming into sight, and that Cascade guarantees there is no vision to be had. Logan a shot at 1. Just a moment, couldn't quite hit that one. As first, we're going to pick up the first. Rocket online. Oh, it's right behind the tie. They'll come out. Hey, we got misses everything. Klorg will take it home. Darkest a quick trade, though. No worries. Northwood will keep a 2-player advantage. Wall going to come down early for that post plan, and all the Viper util still to work with.
Yeah, always keeping that short control. Always the Cascade as well to keep it difficult to push back into truck area there for Fisher College. That big slow is a really big factor. You don't want to have that disadvantage already when you are going through a swing through a smoke.
Look for the retake. Skater in first. Caught by Ali. A trade. A 1-on-3, though. 46 HP. Yeah, Dory will recognize. We'll head away from this one. We'll look to take the Phantom out the round. And we've seen Darkest on the hunt before. Has gotten the go-ahead to look for it again. Was very close to a peek for Cave. He's going to look for his exit frag here as well. Was hoping that player would walk to B site. Even a guiding light comes through from their sky to give them that look into hallway, but it's just not quite enough. So the gun does make it out the round.
Nice rifle there to be carried over here for Fisher.
The rocket went through him.
That was so unlucky. I know. Within just that little clip that we are seeing, that was just unfortunate. The showstopper feels so bad sometimes for that reason, where it's like, sometimes I feel like you can shoot at someone's like feet and it still doesn't hit or do any damage. And you're like, how? What is the hitbox? Like, explain this to me. You know, break it down a little bit there, right? But looking to this next round, though, it's going to be a semi-eco, really relying on the rifle that we are seeing Dory carry over into this next round. But this is also where I really want to see that Viper's Pit come out, because I think for Tuesday, at the very least, playing on that Spectre, forcing those closer quarter fights would be really favorable for the loadout that Fisher College are going to be heading into with.
Okay. So we got a bit of tech. Sounds like possibly a comms issue, so we'll have just a moment here. And while we have a moment, you know, it is a collegiate tournament, so let's get a little bit educational. Ash, what's the value of a double controller setup?
Well, the value of a double controller setup is just lines of sight map control, right? You cut them off early. You try to throw a smoke out where the barriers are right off the bat, and that just immediately can slow down a push. Unless you're going to have things happen like, you know, if it's the brim smoke, a lot of the time you see pop flashes out as well, right? Especially with the sky guiding lights being really imperative to do so. Get around the corners here on Bind that can be difficult to clear with other flashes that are within the game. And I think also just to pivot back over to something that we were talking about earlier and how Fisher College has kind of fallen off since those first 4 rounds, is previously they were going for really early map control, specifically down B long, always clearing out that angle, putting the deep smoke down, flashing out of it, and haven't really been contesting in that same kind of way to put pressure on Northwood, playing a little bit more passive in that sense, maybe going for some early points of contact, but not nearly as aggressive.
And that goes true for their Sage Wall as well. We've seen it a couple of those first 4 rounds. We saw it early out towards B, right in front of Octagon. We saw it early coming out the TP into the front of Shower to steal off space, to steal off orb control. Is the reason why Logan had that res online in round 4. We have not seen that same sort of effect in the last couple rounds. So I think that that utility usage being a little bit more sparing has led to them losing more rounds, ironically.
Definitely going to be interesting to see how that does pan out. Lacking in that early information like you mentioned, but the flash out to set up for Furbzo with the 3K here to start out the round. Sure, might be an eco there for Fisher, but the 2v4 makes it that much harder to find value and come back out from it.
That spray transfers Apple Music to my ears. This Rex Skater going to try to hold on what they can. It's an instant trade coming out of Benji. Just thinking about the res. You don't need it. It's a 3-on-1. It's all good. They can spectate for the rest of the round. A minute to play. A Sage flank looking to come through mid-market. It'll be a long time coming before that develops, so we'll see what that leads to. Rifles can be converted if they can make it to Octagon.
That's the thing, is Northwood very slowly trying to take this B side, not really knowing where Logan is posted up, where he's maybe crept around at this point. But in this post-plant situation, I'm really looking towards Northwood to reclaim the space here into B long. Ensure that Logan can't find any of these weapons here for free, but it's not going to be the case. The look might be too late.
Or just on time. Darkest out as Logan looks for the rifle, and they play just as you mentioned. The plant goes down, they clear as a unit to get to site, and then immediately walk back together to look down Octagon to make sure that even if Darkest does lose that fight, there's immediately the player behind.
I think this is something that I also want to see Fisher College taking advantage of, again, is those flanks. But earlier on into the round, sure, they did have the walk down towards B long, but it wasn't the same situation that we had seen previously. Also being on eco weapons, not quite as easy to get any sprays down or anything like that to try and trade out your teammates. But you don't have anyone aside from a body to watch that flank for the extremities. Your Sentinel, being that Sage, doesn't have the util for it. And look at this contact we might see just as it showers. Oh, that was a 1-2-3 swing right there.
Yeah, very, very well team cleared by Northwood. Logan is going to get a trade. He's going to get the wall up as well. They look to fight through. Roomba goes deeper, so there is room for Logan to play off of here. And I don't expect Northwood to really push this any further.
The blast packs.
They don't have their Sky anymore. They can't flash in. They can't trailblaze into this one. They have to give a body or an ultimate, which is they're going to have to do. Reckoning's going to come in. Benji has it on the head coming through that Sky smoke. We'll pick that one up. Now they've got space to work with. Excuse me. Utilize that high tide to clear the back of the site, and they've isolated these two players to where it's hard for them to leave the site now that they're on it. Amali going to try to kill some time. Nothing really caught early. Cascade's going to come out. It's going to guarantee the space they believe they have cleared off that ultimate will be clear. Stark is going to pick up one. That's Dory on the first wing. Was hoping to even the numbers, couldn't quite do so. 2C does pick up one. Orbital strike into this round for Fisher at this disadvantage. Really hoping that these two players can seal the deal.
Oh, and the bait too. That barrier orb really sold that it might be a triple stack plant, but it's front truck instead here for Northwood. Great crossfire being set up here by Dip. The headshots come in as well. Now it's all up to one. Rex Gator here up in a 1v4. Darkest to close out the round after, you know, helping open up that A side from A short. But I really love how Northwood contested showers there, knowing that Resurrection was online, absolutely denying any ability of bringing that fifth player back in.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like coming out that timeout, there was a conversation about we need to be more aggressive. Like, we won our first 4 rounds because of how aggressive we were. And I think it led to over-aggression from this Fisher side. The second round, we've seen Clork go very deep. And the second round, we've seen Clork come up short. Just walking into 3 stacks, and then the fact that we talked about that Sage Wall, that Sky Smoke being good utilization, right?
Yep.
But it ends up being
so early.
Oh my days. Okay, this one works out. It just takes the ult to do it.
that spike down as well, right? Northwood now having to fight for this space. Paint shell to clear out, trying to find anything possible. But like you mentioned, over-aggression, maybe committing a little bit too much towards it instead of having that opportunity to pull back. Leaves it now into a 1v2 situation. So Fisher able to convert just enough, but it's still a tall task. And I love this switch over, knowing that Fisher has been going on those late flanks there for the retake situations. They're flipping site and taking CT control. And this info tells you that 2Z's coming from the front.
Yep. And look to go heaven, look to go into CT. Planted for either player here, this position, and they'll have that Sky utility that they don't ever have to really peek this one. Guiding lights can come through, confirm contact a little bit later onto this one. You don't really have to throw that util either until you get a tap.
There's the pit, though. That is something I'm worried about. It will be thrown out. The snake bite really great to deny that pushback in from CT.
I don't think
but that's the sight line being given, right? 2Z doesn't have time to even get the defuse down. It could be a matter of a millisecond, but Benji to push right back in, knowing that the clock was running out. Now we're swapping sides.
Incredibly well played from Northwood there. The recognition to flip sites, the recognition to put 2 players up, and then that slow orb. So that player looks to push to find dip there, has to walk back in, and in walking back in is so much slower that it allows for them to set up for what could have been a 2-man.
Yeah. Swapping over now to the pistol round again, though. New opportunity, really important, though, for Fisher to earn the pistol round is the big thing. And if not, that's a lot of pressure to take out the buy-up of Northwood if they can't secure the pistol themselves. Because off the back of this, there's that opportunity for Northwood to run with this momentum and find double digits early on into the second half. And that's what's scary about an 8-4 scoreline. Maybe not nearly as dire as tying things up, but there's a lot on the line here as a swing round.
Okay, good first pick here from Fisher. On the pistol round, it's traded immediately back, though. Everything's short right now for the defensive end. 3 players here. Sally's going to shoot for another. 2C a trade. The second pick for the Viper, as Benji will retreat to the back of the site. Wall's not been expended just yet. A long time coming for a self-heal will be activated, though. So just one tap to the head will take the stage out the round.
And just like a slow standstill at this point, right? Trying to see if Northwood might take a bite into trying to push out, find a little bit more, and Fisher College having to wait for that heal to come back online, try to put a little bit more health into their team, bolster their duelist. Entering in 45 seconds, though, nearly on the clock, and this push out from Northwood is going to make the plant really difficult here for Fisher. Oh, the steps. Not the steps.
Yeah, they've heard all of Darkest there. Does manage to catch one. Gonna get traded by 2C. Good for now their third. It's Benji back on site. Is able to heal what they could.
30 seconds left.
Wall in hand here. His first wall will go down to solidify the plant. It's going to be the wall over to the tank. Shots on for both players. Neither able to land just yet, and 2C will pick it up. A 4K for the Viper. A pistol round for Fisher College.
Could have been a different story if Darkest walked there. I'm not going to lie. But it was a really great play by Fisher as well to just completely cut noise and keep the space that they had already earned, just waiting to see if a flank would come through or even a re-push there outside of A. But I talked about the ace, or the aces, plural, that Furbza were able to get against Fisher previously. That was on bind. It was 3 aces on bind up against Fisher College that ended up actually clutching up there for the W for them, I believe, as well. So now, going into this next one, it's a different shift here. Northwood on their eco round, looking for early point of contact, pushing out a hookah.
Shots on. There'll be trades early into this round as the push comes through. On the short. Clark has already been able to wrap, and we'll find Verbsva in the back. A big look there. Sally's now been able to make it out of mid-market, going to pick up one on his cross. So still 3-3. Hopefully a team that's just on Sheriffs into this round, though. So still difficult to bring this one back. Looking to break wall.
Just swapping guns back and forth, trying to keep as many bullets as possible, I guess, to toss over other Spectres to the rest of the team. But flipping sight here once again. No push too aggressively, though, into CT, aside from just holding it a bit farther back outside of that door. Gives the information that it should be that full flank cover.
Oh! Out, managed to pick up one alley, big on the 2 taps. But Logan is able to wrestle the round from defeat at 6-8. Fisher will take the pistol and the round after.
A little bit too close for comfort, though, if I do say so for myself, to only have the one weapon now carry over. And going into round number 3 here, Fisher College, they're not here to play. It's not going to be a bonus. They're looking to go in full force to match up against Northwood's buy on their anti-eco. And we already saw one Sage up. Cat,
I wasn't gonna say it.
We're about to see another one. Let's see if Benji has a bit more success.
We saw 2 great looks from Logan a half ago, neither able to convert. Will Benji have better luck? Not quite. First look on the shoulder peak, couldn't quite find it. That gives the out positioning away. First will be there, though, top of tank to take down Tuesday, so they still will get a look. Versus Fisher, though, going to be stacked up outside of B long.
It's a really nice lineup as well, though, coming out from Northwood with the Poison Orb to come through. Guiding Light, though, from Dip does give quite a bit of information here towards Northwood. And there is the value coming out from the Operator. Second pick on the board here for NU.
Great repositioning. Great trust in the comms. Couldn't quite get out to Tube, though. So Clark's going to pick it up now on the cross. And that's the cue to go here. Operator down. Let's get in there. As Dark is going to have one. Dipsy in the barrel of Dory. So you know both these players now tucked into Octagon, caught behind the toxic screen, is killing so much time for Fisher. A tough decision to make, and even tougher now the spikes dropped Octagon.
Ooh, that Trailblazer just to seal the deal there, right? Cloric just trying to find something with the tap. The Guiding Light in somehow finds the frag. The paint shells come out. It's a lot of damage, though. 52 health. Showstopper online. Darkest trying to buy time. Spike difficult, but the flanks come in. Ferbza closes it out regardless. Operator now carried back over.
I got so close. Northwood comms come through towards the end of that one. I'm on the way, off flank, just kill time. Jump through, classic right click, I don't care. Just make sure he does not move.
Give him the movement.
And they do that quite well. They have the op posted on the back as well, so first they're able to take a shot there and get the op back to Benji.
Now, money situation, right? This should have been a buy round here for Fisher. They didn't save into the last, ended up losing it out. So that's going to be a costly mistake because this is a great opportunity now for NU to find that 10th round that I initially talked about on that pistol. And it's a 5-person rush in coming from Fisher, looking to get that Showers Orb, clear out these close-quartered angles, and no information over towards that B side, looking towards not necessarily a blitz aside from that Showers area, but now with all the bodies invested into the right side of the map, Fisher College have to take this time, slowly look to re-clear in towards short, see if NU maybe has that positioning to really quickly pinch them because of the fact that, again, there's no utility to watch their back.
We've seen them do this before. We saw them kill Noise for a long time, ace short, which netted them around. You're not going to fool them twice.
Yeah.
And they have not moved a muscle first, but does get caught, though, by the Singer of Cloric. Tuesday picks up one as well.
With the
this round looking winnable. Reckoning is going to come out, try to kill time here. Showstopper online for Cloric. That has value. A second look coming into sight. Those are rifles this team can take, not to mention a 2-player advantage.
2v4 situation. Viper's Pit popped as well, and the Poison Orb on top of that, looking for all the decay possible to bolster the snake bites here into the post plant. And you initially said that they weren't going to fall for it twice. No, they didn't. But the value found with the eco weapons here for Fisher College, stave off the double-digit marker for NU and earn them rifles in hand as well. Really great, incredible eco coming out from Fisher College.
Hey, play close contact against the Stinger.
Yep.
You're going to learn the hard way.
Hey.
That's all I got to say.
It's just real. It's just real. You never know. Sure, it was nerfed, but those bullets go crazy sometimes.
It's still so good. Darks has picked up an exit, has a chance at another here, and is going to peek for it. Picks it up. They've got the majority of what they could out of this round. They got the Vandal, they got themselves the Operator, and it's death to spikes there. So eco, even after that, is decently even. Northwood have a decision to make in terms of what these last 2 players are going to buy, but a Viper's Pit in tow for this defensive round means this one can still come out, especially if Benji's able to get early frags.
That is true. But at the same time, Guardians online here, Folly and Ferbza. That's not really a concern from what we've seen from them, to be completely fair. But it's a different look. Again, now looking to spread out, lurking over towards that A side. A lot of early pressure, and Ferbza with that blast pack over early on finds that first look, but very much so stuck into this side now. very least could try to take that TP. Instead, just a satchel back over, and NU, they fall back.
The third time Clark's been found very early into a round, like within 15, 20 seconds. Benji posted up early. He's going to have a good look here. We've seen a saves in this room before. Rexgator will swing into it, and there's the value coming out of the operator. That leaves 3 alive for Fisher College, and no space gained just yet for them.
Not quite yet. But it's that peek up with the wall. This time, Logan trying it instead of Benji, who we've seen going for that battle sage play. And I really like how Tuzi's trying to move in here, but Ali gonna watch the back. Gotta watch that cross. And right now, Fisher don't really seem to know where they want to go.
Yeah, that was great discipline there from the defense not to adjust. Recognize they're gonna have the numbers advantage regardless. They have so many players still alive into the round. And first, but, well, you said it best. The Guardian, not an issue for this guy.
No. First and Ali on the Guardian, just absolute head tap machines. Like I saw them last weekend doing the exact same thing. It is insane what these players are able to pull out mechanically kind of in another league. Because again, for NU, sure, on Fisher College, they do have Clark and Rexgator now coming in who do have some small tier 2 experience, but it's not the same kind of resume when you're looking at the Northwood team.
Sure.
A lot more extensive experience being on previously Team Wreckaroo, most of them together, honestly, playing on that team as well, finding that synergy.
Scale shorts. Oh, that is a hard-hitting paint shell on the Chloric. Fortunately enough, able to grab the healing orb there, so we'll bring him back to a bit of health as Benji will sneak a look at a shower just before the wall fully goes up. So Logan going to get caught. Will use the utility for us as his teammates. So his first one goes over the top to find another, and not done just yet. From the top of sight, Bach going to pick up Tuzi. Looking to paint shell out into trouble. Dorian has done just that. A 3K converted. Clark will get his get back, but has to get so much more. Needs an ace to win this round, and they're sticking that defuse. No reason to let go. They'll take it under his nose, 11-7.
No concern there, and just gonna go pick that operator back up here for NU right now. One away from the coveted match point for Northwood. A little bit more back and forth at the very least here into the second half, Kat. But Northwood, they're still on a tear. It's just that momentum that they're going with first. And you really said it well. Sure, yes, your duelist is supposed to be the one taking that first point of contact, making that space for you. But also, if not finding a trade off of that, Clark being taken out early very much so changes the pacing that Fisher College can enter into a site with, because nobody can get on site quite as quickly, and it really changes the tempo of things.
Yeah, I think when we play Raze on Bind, we are looking to just bait the Raze. Every execute. You're going to die. I'm so sorry. You're the Sova drone for the team, which is respectable, but the team has to be there for you to Sova drone for them. Clark in yet again. He's utiled off, but has found value. The Sky gets there too, but they all get wall banged. So they're both going to fall to the site defensive. As first, but caught now in the teleporter. Hard to get out of this one. We'll see if they can shoot their way. The Seeker's trying to bring him back in. A step will get space in Hookah. Clark default. He's all the way down to mid-market now, and this is so awkward for Fisher College. They have nowhere to go, and Ali still posted up on the A site.
Yeah, in this situation, too, for Ali, if he feels too overwhelmed, can just duck into showers. Exactly what he's going to do to find the cross, completely deny the plant, because there's no Sage Wall to rely on this time, and there's no Harbor on their side to provide extra positioning, and that's how the cookie crumbles. Ali cleans things up. Match point here for Northwood on map number 1 here of Grand Finals.
And those shots are so crispy. Crispier than McDonald's North Texas fries. Easy for Ali. Looking at match point now. Fisher with a light buy. It might be 1-0 here.
It's not looking good. But you also have to consider the ult economy, right? Potential there. Seekers, great piece of utility. That ultimate finds so much information for yourselves as far as if you're trying to gamble which site has more numbers or not. But the resurrection can also be a big game changer to breathe another opportunity of life into a player. The lineup so nice coming out here from Fisher College. Poison Orb denying anything from U-Haul. Not going to be really any too big of an issue, but those are the ultimates I was talking about, Kat. Finding all the value into this round, which was honestly, it was so chaotic. I almost didn't catch that. It was just like, okay, we're going to throw this out here. We're going to throw this out here with the TPs coming through. But at the same time, what a way to try and keep this map going.
Yeah, handled beautifully by the offensive. I call that the closeout effect. You see teams on match point take a little bit extra presumption, assuming they can just get over with, it can close out the map, and that was not the case. The flawless round for Fisher College. It was very early contact coming out of shower that was handled beautifully by the ult as mentioned. The showstopper from Clork gets them early space. They're able to strike in the back end, takes players out, forces them to step into contact that they aren't able to win. Northwood create their own panic there, and Fisher take full advantage.
And that was only 2 ultimates needed invested there by Fisher College. You still got the Seekers I was talking about earlier, as well as that res here on the side of Fisher College. And Northwood, only thing they've got going for them at the moment is going to be the Resurrection as well, but just not quite as much extra into the toolbox of Northwood. But sometimes you do have to also consider the fact that Fisher College, they need to play perfect from here on out to try and take it to OT.
Yeah, 5 straight rounds. They've seen their counterpart win 8 in a row. Dark is going to pick up the first. That one will come on Direct Skater, so just a single controller left for Fisher College now.
Just one controller. At the very least, it is the Viper, so you have that rechargeable utility, but that's mostly set up towards that B side. And right now, look at the positioning. You've got all of that B-long control right now for Northwood. Dip is pushed so far up, and not too far away is the spike actually in Logan's hands, and now Northwood knows where it's landed.
Dip's early look down has created quite a bit of information for this team. Spike's looking to scale its way up towards ramp, a chance to possibly swing it to long. Trying to see where did he go. The answer is back to site. Treated back with the teammate here, keeping that numbers advantage, keeping the strength on the actual defensive hold.
But the thing is, the whole point of those lurks too and the flanks that you go with is the paranoia that you instill on your enemies. And there's only 30 seconds left. Now make it 20 to pop on site, get the spike planted.
On the site they'll go. Dip will pick up the first. Clark tried to open the door, and he'll close it as well. Dip will find the last, a 3K to hold off the back of the site. A 13-8 score line. Northwood on the board first.
What a matchup to kick off here with grand finals of CECC May Madness, presented to you guys by McDonald's North Texas. The 13-8 in favor of Northwood. And it was a wild ride. That first half, very much so momentum-based. Once Northwood found their footing every single round in a row. 8 in total going into the next. At the very least, a little bit more competitive into the second half of things. But I want to talk a little bit about the difference in compositions and how you might think that has affected these teams.
I think in general, Bind very new. Well, not new, but coming back into the map pool, so new for the competitive pool. I think bringing the Harbor into it is something that creates a challenge.
Yes.
We talk about, and the reason I want to talk to you about double controller utility is looking at, we typically saw Viper Brim before it left, and now the Harbor just a bit more oppressive. We saw those cascades creating space on the way in and then holding space for post plants. I think it's something that's difficult to deal with if it's one of the first times you're seeing it.
I think on top of that as well is the Viper Brim, while we've seen it before in the old meta, the Astra pick was a lot more popular alongside the Viper, providing a lot more as far as being able to combine your utility together, throw out that grab wall, you put a snake bite down kind of situation. And I think a big difference with the Harbor, you did talk about how it is really hard to maybe try and combat something that is new to you. But at the same time, the Harbor has rechargeable utility, and the Brimstone, you lay down all those smokes and they're gone. And I think that's a really big difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely. Goes without saying. And with that, let's let the analyst desk get in on their thoughts, see how they feel about it, as we'll throw it down to them.
A beautiful start to a great game between Northwood and Fisher College. Northwood being the victor out on their map pick of Bind. 13-8. It's a relatively close scoreline, but I feel that isn't exactly the case once we dive deeper into how we got to this conclusion. So it was a beautiful start there for Fisher. And could you kind of give us the opening story, Chixa?
Yeah, definitely. Furbza was super shut down on the side of Northwood early, so right away you could tell Fisher is winning those pistol rounds. They're getting the early economic advantage, and Logan, being the sentinel on Sage, starting it off on the side of Fisher, was doing phenomenally well. They got the first 4 rounds, they were looking good, feeling good, and then things kind of started to fall off.
Yeah, it was right about at round 5 already. There was a turning point for this game.
Okay, so I'm I'm not someone who's angry about operator usage at all, but I always am someone who definitely preaches for, if you're gonna use the op, you better make sure you use it Honestly, I thought we lost Ash in that scene, by the way. Like, I
She tried to dodge
audibly
that pyro.
off, out of frame. So, but yes, when you buy an op, you sure as heck better be able to get value out of it. Otherwise, you are out a lot of credits, and you most likely will damage your team's economy. And once that economy starts to go down and look like, you know, the 2008 economic burst, you definitely have caused a recession, and your team has to rebound together, because one person not able to buy guns can really mess everything up. And when you don't find value with that operator, i.e. after that round, things drastically turned around in favor of Northwood. Granted, again, Northwood kind of struggled bust, and, you know, they had the driver, so to speak, was their raise in the very beginning of each half with the pistol rounds. They're able to recover. If you're aware that you're not good at pistol rounds, you can make up for it later on, but you have to be ready to counter the coming rounds. But if you serve yourself up by dropping a big buy on a big weapon you really shouldn't be affording, you're going to turn yourself into dead.
Well, they turned themselves certainly into dead, Artie. It was 8 rounds in a row that Northwood was able to convert after that purchase, and it just seemed that there was a consistent struggle for Fisher to get a foothold back into there. I think it was just a few rounds outside of pistol benefit. What exactly was going on with the lack of kill power coming out from Fisher?
It definitely is. Like, it was very weird, because on the attack, you got to see Northwood. They were struggling a lot. And it was one of those things where, honestly, I was surprised by the results, because it was the first couple of rounds where the economy was down, where you could see Fisher really take advantage of that 4-0, of that to come through. And that really gave them that advantage, right? The 4-0 there, and being able to bring themselves up a little bit higher. But then at the end of the day, Northwood, they were able to bring things back. So I think overall, when you're looking at the results, that was what gave Fisher that lead. That was what really allowed them to really just flourish. The economy down for Northwood, not knowing how to bring themselves back up, getting a rare round, and then losing it again. So I think one of the biggest things that we're going to have to really remember is that Ferbsa was that firepower, that firecracker down on the defense, being able to not only bring the attention back down towards that second half, but also utilize their utility to get those retakes in and really corner and pressure these players in a situation where they originally wouldn't have expected.
No, yeah, it does come down to Cloric versus Ferbsa in that moment. At the end of the day, a lot of early kills by Cloric, but also a lot of early deaths, so they did have that ability to start things off, but they weren't able to have a consistent presence throughout the round, where they definitely were needed by the rest of their team. The next map is going to be Fracture, picked up by Fisher College. I'm definitely excited to see this one. What are your thoughts on this upcoming split-up map, Artie?
Personally, I think, again, I want to be keeping an eye on Caloric, because Caloric was a powerhouse, but the issue that I was noticing is something that I refer to as overstaying your welcome. As a duelist, you start forward and you either take the duel, you win, you disengage, or you realize you can't win this fight and you start to back off. If you're on the defensive positioning, if you're on offense, you claim the angle, you get intel, you start to move forward, but you need to be careful. If you start taking fire, you need someone to come and suppress. If you can't take the 1v1, situations like that, you need to know when it's time to say goodbye and get out. That was the issue with Caloric. Granted, yes, there were some showstoppers that didn't go well. Every raise has those experiences. I'm just glad we didn't see any team kills, well, teammate kills in those instances. But if Caloric can really get on lock with understanding, I can take this duel, I can claim the space, or I need to back off, I think Fisher will find more success. However, if that's not rectified, I do believe Northwood will be a little bit more victorious on Fracture.
You know, speaking of taking those kills, but also being safe, could you tell me a little bit about some positioning, whether it was good positioning or errors in that inside of the initial holds by Fisher? Tixa?
You know, I think generally speaking, like even looking at the side of first bloods for both teams, it was interesting to note that Ferbsa only had 5. So I think he was positioning himself a little bit more safe in that duelist role that you expect to be up the highest, 9 on the side of Cloric. So I find that almost the duelists are playing a little bit more back than normal, and it might be affecting the game as they continue to play out. But, you know, I'm looking at the map as well in Fracture, and I'm really surprised, since I was talking to Catinator, and he said both teams banned that one, permaban outright.
Well, Kat clearly lied to us, but let's see. The numbers here don't lie. An amazing performance generally by Chloric. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. We can see that Dorian Rex Skater, a bit of a lackluster performance, but maybe they could bring it back here on Fracture. We're about to head into the map in just a few moments. Gatnator, Ash, why don't you take it away?
Thank you very much, Los. I didn't really listen to you, so I'm not sure what I lied about, but I probably did lie about it. You're not wrong. But when it comes to this one, when it comes to map 2, I'm not lying when I say this could go either way.
It could go either way. We haven't really seen too much Fracture from either of these teams, like you mentioned, being that permanent ban, right? So it's a big question of, is this coming out because it is the grand finals and there's no footage to go off of? You get to find out what they've actually been cooking up into these scrims and just completely taking each other off guard. This could go truly either way. I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, when it comes to it, we haven't seen Northwood on Fracture for quite a bit of time. Like you mentioned, it's been that perma ban, but they opted to ban out First Pearl, which is a map that they have not really looked bad on. A map that they're 86% win rate on. So I don't really understand the ban to you know, whatever. Do your thing.
You don't want too much footage to counter strat on, right? That's the big thing that I'm thinking about. I feel like Northwood also, well, both of these teams, Northwood and Fisher being these top seed teams, right? They're going to have the most footage on them for other teams to look back on.
Yeah, very true. I think a massive advantage here goes to Fisher, who have already touched Fracture for this event specifically. They saw it yesterday, or saw it earlier today, actually, excuse me. They saw it in semis. That was that 15-13, though. So it was an incredibly close map for them against Oklahoma Christian, the 3rd seed. And we'll see if they walk away with it here. Down a map, things are getting intense. You see it there in the player cams, and they'll get intense here in Agent Select as well.
It's going to be really important here. Again, it's just a best-of-3 series, right? Map 1 already under the belt of Northwood here, and it's grand finals time. It's the revenge arc that Fisher College are looking towards, and already looking here into Agent Select. What are your thoughts? Double duelist.
It's going to be fast.
Yep.
It's going to be real fast.
Yep.
Breach on both sides, that strong flasher, the double duelist as mentioned, and then we'll throw the Cypher on the lurk.
And the thing is, well, also, I mean, Cypher is great on Fracture to have the opportunity to move around. But Benji, I'm really liking seeing like this flexibility now in his Sentinel pool originally. Like I already mentioned so many times, being that KJ main, but now bringing out different looks that have been panning out pretty well as far as how Northwood is trying to handle their team compositions. And I think that considering how you mentioned it was going to be a really fast matchup, Fracture's all about that map control on the defender side too. We're going to see, I think, a lot of pinching and just trying to push out and see and find those Fisher players when they're attacking.
Yes, when we talk about pinching, when we talk about taking early space, early contact, I think Northwood really won the early contact department on map number 1. So that has me slightly concerned here for Fisher, but then again, we're looking at their map pick now. They wanted to be here, and they're going to show us why.
That's for sure. Big thank you also over towards that PC Game Pass agent selection to also give us like that heads up on what we're going to be seeing here in this mirror matchup like you talked about. But the fast pace not coming out quite yet here into the pistol round. Instead, teams slowing things down, trying to see maybe how each other are just going to try and go for the setups and plays, but there comes the speed.
I like that. I like that super dash to the top of sight. Off that flash as well. Fisher going to take early space out of drop. Already that flank for the Cypher as well. Looks like Northwood going to know about it, but they're getting pinched on hallway. Logan will step forward to find Dip. First was trades 2 back though. So it's got 1 for him and his teammate. As the onslaught continues for Fisher College, they'll win it all. When it comes to hallway control, it's just Benji left standing, making their way over from the B site, initially anchoring, now looking at a 1v3 retake, just a frenzy in hand, and a Brimstone very close, just around the corner. The check is there, the first frag is had, there's no trade either, no help from site. They'll play their own 1v2. That first flash one gone, all the breach utils already expended, so there's a big shot at this one. Cam's gonna come through, hasn't seen 2C just yet, step forward for Benji, and 2C will catch him. A 3K for the opposing side for a 1-0 scoreline. Fisher, their 3rd pistol.
Nice re-clear coming in there for 2Z just to ensure the backup was available for Dory when necessary. Now, that buy up Fisher College, hey, on bind, they kicked off that pistol round into their own pocket. They got the next one as well. So starting things off, again, strong here for Fisher. And on the side of Northwood, I'm looking towards, you got those pings going out into dish. You know that it's going to be a fault line. These duelists are going to go and clear that space. Maybe break those trips early.
See exactly that. Already through the dish. First trip now being reached. It'll be expended, so there will be some knowledge here. They are on that lurk, and everybody's already arcade stacked together. Benji gonna throw the cage. Has to step in front of the paint shell. Oh, that shrapnel won't quite land. Space, shorty out, caught though. Dorian Logan gonna pick up two, another for the Jet, and it's just an onslaught for the upgraded weapons. Of Brimstone with a shorty and a dream, caught out by the flash, still finds one, no bullets left, and Dory will close it up.
The shorty plays to come in. But I'm looking at this lineup, and I understand why Logan was on the operator in Bond by now. Maybe being a Jet player to start things off, having that comfort on the weapon, now shifting over to the duelist. But speaking of duelists, I'm looking at the Jet in Dip's hands too. That's the IGL for Northwood.
Yep.
And you're very much so leading from the front. Things can get really chaotic when you're trying to calm, but at the same time, that's also the opportunity to ask your team to set you up for success.
Yeah, Dip used to play a very hard Jet in Tier 2, so
yes.
not one who can't do so, but yeah, doing it as an IGL is definitely double the load at some times. Let's dip very forward into this one. Logan, same story, caught by Ali. Try to make his way down out of the rafters. As Clark will step into sight first. That blast back gonna do double duty. We'll give him the sight and we'll break the tripwire, so we've got room now. Molly gonna solidify that space. The spy cam gets a bit of information. We're stalled out for a moment here. Post-plant retake gonna be the call on this one.
Still going to be a bit of damage to come out there from the Aftershock.
Nice.
Might just take out Rexigator. It's going to be the case. That retake coming in here hot and heavy. 3v3 situation here, Cat. All into tower as well.
Close shot, couldn't quite find it. Flashpoint gonna send this team back in the tower first, but to lead the charge. So good at close contact, gonna pick up two. Caught though by the fault line. Still finds it with the classic, concussed or not. They pick it up. They're gonna give the defuse over. That should just about get the showstopper online.
That's the danger of having numbers up into tower as well, right? I know you're trying to play a bit more close quarters with the weapons in hand, but there are also rifles to be picked up, and then you're losing a lot of control in your post. You just get zoned out with the utility. Going into this next round, Ops coming out on the attacking side here for Logan. He struggled to find success with it over on Bind. I'm curious if now being on this Jet will bolster his confidence.
Sure. Talk about the fact that those slow orbs, that's the get out of jail free card. Now you have the get out of jail free card in that tailwind, and we'll see if that will be the call here. The step forward, nearly contact. Darkus will swing straight into trouble, and Logan will not squander another opportunity. The third time's a charm. Darkus to fall first.
But even look how clustered together Fisher are with how Northwood has been taking that map control now. Instead, it's over towards the south side of the map. Previously, having favored north, Bali, this push up into sewers, and Logan, what a great hold. That op just watching their back.
No flank from tunnel allowed. Benji in a world of hurt on tower right now. Players on both sides of him. Flash will lead Clark into the frag. Everything's picked up from Fisher early. They've got the opening three. First, catches one on the cross. A second as well. The number's almost even. Showstopper could lead them to that 2-1-2. Rocket can't quite convert. Everybody right now arcade. There's room for the scene to play it. But First has got everything to do. The only player with HP. His teammate so low, 2 HP for Dip right now. And he does not have that tailwind any longer. They'll tap Spike. Orbital Strike will be initiated for Fisher College, trying to stall. Dip has a peek, caught though by Rexigator. First with 1v3. Has to get the ace to win out this round. A third converted. And Tusi will not give him another swing. We'll throw the Cypher cage. There's nothing to be had here for Furbspa. They will not give the angle. Taps yet again. Finds a fourth. Would have to hold the spike though. And I don't know if he gets this. Logan's walked away. It'll be so close, but a second. The difference.
4K at the end of the day there for Furbspa, but really well played by Fisher College and just biding their time, not swinging too often. And honestly, it's one of the times where I'm like, okay, you know what? It's fine that you're giving the 1v1s because we've seen the sprays that Furbspa has been able to connect. You might as well just play your life.
That's very fair. kill a little bit of time, delay those swings one-on-one just a little bit. And while Ferbza does shoot the lights out, cannot shoot their way into a round win. A very low economy here for Northwood leads to just about a save. Logan had another look early into this round, couldn't quite find the trigger on that one.
Really interesting how the operator has really been this deciding factor almost for Fisher in their flank watching. Northwood, very much so, they disrespect the Cypher utility that gets in the run. You know, you just shoot that down, but it's just really potent. But look at this lurk, trying to bait out some sort of information. Tuzi will be revealed. Nice Cypher cage to fall back on, and everybody's regrouping now on the north side.
The whole gang coming over. Makes you nervous. Tuzi falls, someone pushes forward. You can't get off the zip line once you're on it, but they have made it safely. The family reunion. They'll walk into arcade. Fisher College hasn't been a team to play games, at least early on. 4-0 to start map number 1. We'll see what they can find here on their way in. Northwood have already vacated the site.
Ooh, nade up into tower as well, just to do some zoning. Fault line doesn't quite connect, and a great incendiary coming out from Rexgator to deny any sort of push out from Jenny as they try to take space here. Still, it's only 25 seconds left. Finally going for the plant, and Logan looking for the flank.
Yeah, had that great look under tunnel. Oh,
and he's
that
zooming. He's gone.
That one felt undeniable. Couldn't quite get picked up, and Dip is gone as mentioned. Pops the blades, goes towards the other side. They do have the information that he's going to be there as the rest of the team makes their way out of that defender spawn. All of Fisher once again going to hold the post plant arcade. This should be easy to zone for Northwood as Ali double taps one. Orbital strike online. We'll throw it down. We'll force chaos here as Darkus has another. Looking for Chloric. He's got them out of trouble. Express Gator's going to come under. We'll catch Dip. The blade storm shut down, and Chloric will find Darkest. Fisher College now up 3.
Up 3. Expensive round loss too, sure, on eco weapons, but that was Orbital Strike invested into the round as well. Now though, going into the next, Northwood finally have the full loadout to come in. 4 rounds into the pocket of Fisher College. Sure, Northwood got an early first, but now it's a question of, okay, we're this far into the first half. Is Northwood going to have that slow start and scale up again like we'd seen previously on Bind? And I don't know. Kat, what do you think they got to do?
Hitting that shot would have helped. Hard angle, though. It's like incredibly small amount of pixels for the shoulder, so couldn't quite find it for Dip, but put an operator into this round. They've adjusted the defensive just a little bit, putting Dip over to the V side to try to get that initial peak. Interesting choice, though, knowing that Logan's been on that operator, has been playing the close contact angles, tried to take the fight to him. Neither player ends up finding anything, though, so that op duel will have to get regurgitated at a later date. But when it comes to changes, this team, they find it kind of on their own, right? Didn't need a timeout for Bind. We're able to walk things back and then win 8 rounds in a row. So just give him a minute here. As Chloric, well, he'll stop the show. Ali's picked up in the top of tower. That's an open B site. Retake duty yet again, and with an op in hand as well.
All Sky Smokes, though, I believe, nearly invested, if not at least just 2 of them on the side of Fisher College. So minimal cover to be provided into the late round. Ferbza always enjoying these upper angles to try and catch the side of Fisher College off guard, and you saw a little bit of a head there from Rexgator, so some information in towards arcade and knowing that at least one's be made.
Yeah, I saw the raise as well. Definitely saw the op. Logan will pick that one up. Tuzi another on the cross, and this one not even worth it. Northwood will head for the hills. This round, not theirs to win.
I mean, they invested in the operator themselves as well into this round, right? And then after the fact, money's not looking too great. There's really no choice otherwise, because Fisher's just racking up rounds down. For that reason, Fisher is trying to hunt. Not too aggressively, because they know that Benji does still have that op online, and really, really close contact there, almost in towards Sands. We're already going to swap back into the next buy for Northwood. They might be on an eco round. They do have quite a few ultimates to work with. Interesting that Dip's actually maybe not throwing that operator over to someone else, considering he just had the blades.
It's a very good point. It's a question of how much they really want to invest into this round, and they've invested enough that it could be worth it. Doesn't seem like they want to pull the trigger on it. So that, yeah, that's interesting. Dip feeling like, hey, I'm the best player with the op too, so let me
That's
have both. And maybe I'll just grab all the frags. Maybe I'll grab the ace real quick. So it's a very quick scale for Fisher College, knowing not a lot of utility to work with here. We didn't see the op early hallway. It's been scaled pretty quickly, so we should have the room to work with. And they're absolutely correct in the assessment. A wide open A site leads to that plant coming down, and a chance for the post plant. Contact going to be just a bit delayed here, waiting on that flank hallway.
Look at this positioning, though, from 2Z. Just around the corner, it's 2 to come out, and 2 to fall there on Northwood's side. Slowly getting picked apart here onto their eco around. Logan with the next, and now it's that operator again looking to be saved into the next round.
Logan puts him in a pot in the hallway. Dip will do what he can. Try to make it out of this round. Second pick converted, so 2 frags. You just saw him grab 2. You probably don't really put too much more pressure onto this one. Eco's pretty solid, though, for Fisher, winning the last 3 rounds. So
there is one more.
They could go ahead. Have scared him away. They got the pinch, and they got the op. Big fine for Ruck Skater.
Really, really nice quiet play, too. And it was the pinch around regardless, running out through main. They weren't going to allow that op to be carried on over into the next and invest it into their own player instead. Such an expensive weapon to come out here. Now, still able to have the full loadout here. Again, that operator was really the main driving force into that last round there from Northwood, right? I'd really like to see them play a bit more for that retake, all things considered. Darkus does have the Rolling Thunder online to facilitate.
Early contact for Logan. Yet again, can't quite make it happen. Now he's caught by all this util, incredibly suppressed. 2C going to shoot out 1. Trying to bail his teammate out of this one, and it's worked. The cage is enough. Clark going to pick up 1 on the other end of the map. That's the real target going to be that ace site for this Fisher College team. First one naded away. Can't help his teammate into CT. That's going to kill a lot of time. Puts him in an awkward spot as well. After that scale towards the satellite, Rex Skater going to pick up 1. And this round never even really started for Northwood.
No, Clark trying to find some of that space in, and Forbes got an itch on his shoulder, knows that there was at least 1 in towards Dish. But again, I feel like we're left in these 1vx situations constantly right now for Northwood. Benji gets 2 though, but with only 18 HP left, decides not to keep going for the last 2. If he had a little bit more health on hand, could have maybe tried to go and find that round. At the end of the day though, the economy here for Northwood is consistently suffering.
Yeah, is it timeout time?
That's the thing. Northwood doesn't call timeouts. They very, very rarely call timeouts. I don't know if I've even ever seen them actually call one, except for maybe once or twice. And this is a really big lead. You got to stop the momentum somehow. It would be the perfect time to do so. Even earlier, I would have said. And what a pred there, Cat. Let's go. Allie's your man.
I like that. I think this is the perfect time for it, right? We always talk about 7 to 5 is a lot better than 8 to 4. And they still have the chance to get that 7 to 5. They'll get back into what will probably be a buy round here. Dip has enough cash to make it happen. They've got Rolling Thunder getting to sight. First plus 1 ult orb away from a rocket. There's a real chance of this round, and a conversation obviously needs to be had. They were able to get the job done on Bind. It took them to round 5 to kind of switch things up and find that tempo again. But obviously it did not happen in this one. So the timeout is an absolute necessity for these guys, and they'll take a chance to discuss why are we unable to keep these guys off of the site. They've been playing pretty heavy for the retake. The issue is, though, that when you want to play the retake, you're trying to find 1 early pick to guarantee you that numbers advantage, and it's been the other way around. Fisher have been walking into the sites vacated for retake and finding a pick on their way in.
It's been a lot of manpower on the side of Fisher College to help with that success. And the endurance as well, right? To come back from that initial loss where they were up so far.
Yep.
And now just essentially doing almost what happened to them in that situation, though Northwood is a lot more stifled at the moment.
5 in a row for Fisher College, a timeout, a chance for Northwood to think things over. A lighter buy into this one, they'll be able to full buy rifles into the next, but converting this one would mean a lot for them in terms of halftime. They can continue to put rounds into the win column. Clark on the close angle, he's caught by Dip. It's a flash though to guarantee no trade to Rex Skater's look. That puts us back to an even 4-4. It does scare Fisher away from the arcade side though.
Take that zip line back over south side. Just trying to re-clear some sort of presence in case Northwood did elect to push out. said very passive plays coming out from Northwood at this moment. Have arcade control, so Northwood could be really nice for them to reposition. I also got to point out that tripwire. It will be an important piece of utility to give Northwood the heads up about this B hit.
Bit of early contact over to A. Nothing that either player is able to spot, though. Dory's going to spot the first. We'll take him down. Trip has been expended now. It's Fisher College walking in to the B site and finding a pick with him.
Didn't even have to use that orbital strike to clear into tower like they were planting, but that's going to be the Rolling Thunder right away. Deny that plant. And now pushing back in here, Ali trying to find something into tower. Dory, I think, still concussed with that frag.
Yeah, and that's a body shot frag, too. Tuesday will find the last. That one goes to the head of Benji. Take to one, out the timeout. Another loss for Northwood now into full rifles.
Ultimate economy here for Northwood. Something important to consider. Furbza, Showstopper online. You got Orbital Strike here for Ali as well. And Neural Theft, although touted to be a pretty weak ultimate overall when you look at the grand scope of things here for agents within Valorant, I feel like On Fracture does hold quite a bit of value just because of how players can just run around and run amok on this map in a sense, with so many different avenues. Map almost being a little bit like a labyrinth, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Early orbital strike. Mentioned it didn't get used last round, so now it can be into this one. Doesn't really find much, though. Northwood have not vacated the site. They're still here. They're going to play this one a lot more aggressively. Looking for that contact. First with the rocket. We'll take down Rex Skater. Still, it's Fisher College to work their way into tower. Guns toted on this position. It's a question of who can shoot the better shot. And so far, it's Northwood. Logan only able to pick up one before they're initially traded. And Clark hasn't been able to step into the angle. 2C will look for the other end out of stairs. Will cage for that vision denial. Trying to make up for the loss of Rex Skater. He's going to look to take this on contact. He wants to get a numbers advantage, and unfortunately, fragged out by Ali. Darkest will finish Chloric. Northwood out the timeout. Lose one. Able to come back, though, with the rifles.
Second round online here for Northwood. Gunning for that 8-4 scoreline, like you mentioned earlier, Kat, here at the half. Trying to find as much as possible to be able to close that gap here as much as they can with the remaining rounds left. I think what Northwood did really well in that last one was just pressuring that initial plant coming out from Fisher College. And Fisher didn't really have too many places to go. Northwood had a really nice sandwich opportunity. Going into this next round now, early flashpoint, Rolling Thunder as well. The only one to catch is going to be Benji in towards tower. But do they end up pushing all the way in?
No fear from the duels. They both make it to sight. Let's put Ali in a terrible spot, and you'll see why. Logan's picked up two, looking for a third tower shut down now. As Benji's trying to recover this round. Neural Theft online will give that info to the team. A big look onto the opposing Cypher. Now the Neural Theft going to come out. They've got lots of information here as Benji finds a third coming out of tower. They know about the plant position. They know about the plant player and not posted up on the angle trying to stop this cross. And Dory somehow still gets out of dodge and takes Furbza with him.
Oh, lit up. No safe place to really rip out this dart either. Dory finally gets it, but it's a pinch. You just got to swing, isolate the ones, but it's the 1-2-3 swing coming out from Northwood. Now, got to get that defuse down early. Or not early, easy. Third round there for Northwood. Very coordinated on that retake.
Very coordinated and great confidence from them and great coordination coming under so much pressure. Ali's in a world of hurt there with those two duels going to site. The rest of the team backing up Util almost immediately to make sure when those players do make it to site, they can't get any extra room. Also, good looks from Benji. That 3K guarantees the round win. Able to shut down tower control, which has been key to the Fisher College post plan.
That was the big factor. Benji was really the point turner there for the side of Northwood. But last round before he swapped sides now, everybody is putting their all into it. As far as money goes, there's no issue this time around for the most part. Upper angle this time from Dip, looking into Satellite early on, despite the early presence, maybe trying to get some sort of trade down if Furbza needs to get out of dodge early.
You've seen a couple inklings of contact here. For the most part, it's been Logan deeper on this op angle, and it still will be. Takes a lot longer for Furbza to peek this go around, but this time it will be Logan picking up that frag. It's been, I'd say 50-50 now on him grabbing that shot, but this time it's very confident. Dip, not the same story. Logan nails the one tap with that Blade Storm. Looking for more and has it. Darkus, his head ripped clean off of him.
Here.
Now, Smoke, though, providing a little bit of vision over towards Fisher. And it's just scaled back off of sight, knowing Northwood has made the rotation over into A. They're looking to move over onto B. It's a 2v5 situation. Things looking pretty rough here for Northwood. No utility really either for any information gathering at all on this retake situation.
Utilize the rocket going into this one. Last round of the half, no reason not to. Making sure they get that space and even a frag converted as well. That's from the deep end. Benji gets caught off. Just leaves one player, Arcade, and gone just as fast as he's mentioned. 9-3, your scoreline as it sits.
Switching sides now, though. Northwood, to be fair, we do have to consider it's an attacker-sided map here on Fracture, right? And these compositions coming out speak very much so towards that attacking side as well. That doesn't take away whatsoever from the success that Fisher did find in that first half, but it's also built for the composition. Or the composition's built for it, I should say. Looking at the pistol round, though, Northwood, it is a must-need win for them.
Northwood have not taken a pistol yet this series. All three have gone the way of Fisher College. A must-win round, and a round they haven't been able to convert just yet. See if they can change the story here now. We'll walk down the B staircase. Benji on the jiggle. Picks up one with the ghost. We'll use that case to try to get away. Calm the concussion, though, going to make this one very awkward. He just can't make it happen. Rick Skater will find a late trade. Logan going to pick up another. It's numbers advantage now for Fisher College. That continues to be the case after the fight's there.
Already in a 1v3 situation here for Ali. Frenzy finds one, but there's just too many chokes you got to worry about. Really, really nice early flank coming out there from Fisher College to find success. Puts a lot of pressure on Northwood as they're looking to enter onto that B side. And the big reason why Fisher could also find success in that kind of rate is that their site players on B weren't necessarily going head-to-head with B main. Instead, pulling back a little bit more, playing a little bit safe, playing for their life in that sense. And it buys a little bit of time and instills a bit of false sense of security, I guess, over towards Northwood. Flank comes through. But early double digits here for Fisher College. 10-3 going into this round. Northwood staying safe with their buy, and honestly, I prefer that because you're in a way, way hotter, dangerous zone otherwise.
Sure, yeah. No reason to try to force into this one, try to get a big win, look for rifles, and then just try to go from there. We know they've been able to win 8 rounds in a row just a map ago, so not too worried just yet. I mean, you saw them in the player cams, they didn't look too worried. First foot, unfortunately, caught by all the util in the world. Logan will utilize the paint shells and the breach shields. Util to take that one. Darkus 2 back with the Marshall. The hallway defender looking to keep it cooking as these players are going to step their way out of drop now. Both Cloudbursts expended to give them some space. Be an awkward fight on the top of the site. Full flash, though, so no swing for the Brim. As Clark close box, Logan going to pick up the first. Darkus has 3 now. This Marshall is going absolutely ballistic on this round. Clark with the back of the breach. They've got no util left. They have to do this one dry, and Dip won't let that happen. Going to find the first. Clark, what do you swing for? Who do you target? And the answer is no one. Darkus will find 4 in this round, 3 off the Marshall, and Northwood convert.
That round is all Darkus for conversion there for Northwood, and a big thing that I love about that Marshall pick is it's a 101 to the body. These teams very obviously have the aim. They're not really concerned about missing that kind of mark.
Right.
And hitting those kinds of shots just, I think, bolsters the ability of the pistols of the remainder of your teammates to have a lot more effectiveness in finding those frags and whittling down that HP as well. Now, okay, we got that buy up here for Northwood. Nearly full sending it, carrying some of the Spectres over. Fisher onto the Eco, looking to get isolated here in towards tower.
Just a frenzy for this team. We'll see if they can make that of this round. As Benji already's picked up 2. No armor plus Spectre equal a good time as long as they're in your hand. Northwood just roll into the site. No issues at all. There's that one frenzy as mentioned. Didn't even get a chance to see action yet.
No, and the tripwire tells you everything, right? Benji's going to give him a little nod, give him a little bit of a hello and greeting, and Rex is just going to try and find something, but the Spectre is the better SMG. That's the 5th round on the board here for Northwood. Looking a lot more comfortable on their attacking side. But I will say overall here on Fracture, Fisher College does look a bit more put together here compared to Northwood as far as maybe having like set plays, set pieces of util that they do know that they like to combine to find success.
Yeah, definitely working through that double duelist comp, getting through the Cypher util with no issue at all. And also the confidence of them to be able to play a 2-on-3 split, even if they're all at the same avenue. So it's a contact execute, but a lot more coordinated and having players that can step forward first. We see a lot, right? Jet players dash into site and have no trade because they're just there so early. Everyone else is caught behind the util, where they're playing their 2 duelists, so they have a trade as they both entry site together. So definitely a bit more coordinated, but Northwood swinging rounds together nonetheless. They've got themselves into the A site yet again. A trip placed very low, has not been broken just yet. Plant will go down regardless.
That could make things really chaotic in the retake situation if Northwood does end up tripping the trip that you mentioned here underneath site. Could be a big difference maker. It's a 5v5 though on this retake.
Yeah, especially we look at vision denial, tripwire. You're seeing through that vision denial, so something to look into. They've broken it now, so no worries there. Chlor's gonna pick up Benji. That'll start the push on the retake. That fault line gonna catch the player up front and make things a little bit awkward there. Orbital Strike gonna come through, a Rolling Thunder to counter, so no real space gain for either player in that ultimate. First one dip, both duelists gonna find value here early for Northwood, and they continue the ways. A shorty kill even picked up for this team on post plant, who win it no trouble. They keep 2 alive, Northwood now within 4.
Expensive round there for Fisher College as well. You had the investment coming out from Fisher, the orbital strike to go down. Now it's an eco round, and it didn't do too much for that zoning. Northwood doing really well to close that gap. Again, I feel like when they're found in uncomfortable situations, they are very much so those slow starters into figuring out how they want to execute and adjust to their opponent.
See the plushies on the desk there on the player cam. Ash, do you think plushies at LAN make you better?
Yes.
Good, I was going to agree. I was hoping that you wouldn't say the other way. Clark, clearly no plushies on the table. Dip has that one, no trouble on the double blast pack down. Looking for some space, and well, that space was occupied by the enemy, no doubt. As Northwood have tower control, going to look to take that over to B. And Fisher have recognized they've vacated the site. They'll play retake, and Logan's picked up a good look to equalize.
Still not planted though, quite yet. Sure, a lot of pressure to be put on here by Fisher. But the nice thing is that Orbital Strike denies it a little bit, but the pushback in from Ferbza denies even more. 2v3 here, Fisher College at the deficit.
These spray transfers are so consistent from Ferbza. It's almost like you give him a 1v1, he's upset. Like, where's the extra player? I can do so much more than this. He's looking to do so now in this 1v1. Logan's going to pick up Dip off camera. This fight continues on. Look for the right click. That's not enough to take me down. Went for the classic 2C a trade. A one-on-one, a Neural Theft online. There's still room. There's a rifle right in front of him. What? No! He hit the one tap, but it's too far away. It's a 145 tap.
That is heartbreak there. The Sheriff and the distance could have been a completely different round, and 11th there if it had been another story for Fisher. But luckily now back onto their full buy here, Cat.
For those who don't know, there is damage fall off in this game. You 150 to the head if you are close enough. 2C is just too far away, so he does hit the shot, but he just does not convert enough damage to finish the round out.
Heartbreaking replay to run back now on stream, but now going into the next round. We're just trying to see the contact play here. Very slow out from Northwood. Just trying to see if anyone has maybe pushed up from Fisher into Dish. Hasn't been the case. Instead, fighting heavily for that A main control, all garnered by the duelist from Fisher.
No contact here early for Logan, going to give Satellite away. And as you mentioned, space is going to be taken for Northwood because of it. Lots of ults online for this team, and they have not been shy to throw out the rocket. We've seen ideology kind of change recently from the top of collegiate teams of let's just get these ults out when we can. No reason to hold them. Man, you hold them so long, they end up recharging by the time you finally decide to pull the trigger. So this team has been one to just throw that rocket out in any situation where it can gain them an advantage.
But look at this. the Zips back over here, and again, we talked about it earlier, the A main control that Fisher has right now. There's 2 players. Logan waiting for that first look. Operator in hand, doesn't connect though. So that means it's showstopper for showstopper into this battle. The first blood goes into the hands of Fisher College, and it's chaos across the board here. All of a sudden, 2v2, Neural Theft Online, information for the Northwood side.
Dip will have close contact, right under drop. In a good position, Neural Theft is giving the info away, finds the first. No trade available. Cloudburst to get out of trouble. Will get him a very wide swing. Has help from his teammate. Now trades him to perfection. Dip will pick up both out of CT, and now we're within 2.
It all comes down to this. Initially, 9-3 half here. Fisher only earned the pistol round, and it's been all Northwood since then. 5 rounds in a row. Stuck in that ping pong economy, going back and forth onto that eco. And Bladestorm, it was already used on another eco, not going to be available into this round, which could have been that difference maker. And no extra util as far as any of those ultimates go. Fracture, though, does have 4 ult orbs, so Fisher College, you can take this round to go shopping if you want.
Yeah, I like that play. It's the orb train. Walk around, a little sightseeing, a couple orbs converted. We'll see how far Northwood play into that orb control. They're playing everything right now over towards that B site. No early scale from Fisher College either, even after this presence has initially been made. Dips in. Haven't seen 2C just yet, holding the back of tower. It's a lot of players up against him. First, we're going to take his teammate away. No trades available. 2 HP the difference.
Nearly a pick there for 2Z too. Like you said, 2 HP, but the paint shells do come out. Could be quite a bit of damage, honestly, done. That delays the plant too there for the side of NU. And Fisher College, 3v5 on this retake again. They are on an eco round, so just really trying to find as much value as possible.
Yep. So they can grab a couple picks just for their troubles. Release Azul from Cloric has not moved any bodies. So look here from Tower. That's the 2 HP Dip who sits on that angle. No trade available for him either. So Logan has a good chance at that one. Cloudburst going to be the difference though, has walked away from that, so no longer going to be an option. No longer will that dash be activated, so Logan just gonna look for crosses here on the exit.
Ooh.
Nails a 1-tap to Darkest. First one, easy trade. 3 guns out the round, and now just 1 away from that tie.
Okay, there we go. Both these teams pulling out, to be honest, in my opinion, some late timeouts with the momentum that each other have been garnering for themselves. You would think that maybe it would come out 3 or 2 rounds ago at the very least, because that's a really, really long row of rounds to secure for yourselves. And what do you think Fish is talking about?
First and foremost, it's just 2, guys. It's just 2 to hit OT. It's just 2 to hit OT. That's at the very least. The first goal is to secure 12. Of course, if we can take a 13, we'll win, right? We'll win outright, but the first goal is just to get to that point. They're a team that's seen OT already this weekend. Their very last map played here in Arlington was 15-13. They took it on overtime number 1, so they know if they can get there, they can at least try to punch the ticket there, and they've done it before.
It's very true. Something else that I realized, I know I keep touching back to this being that rematch between these two. Fisher College, the one with the revenge arc, losing out in that 2-1 series. But that was actually on this exact same stage here at Esports Stadium Arlington.
Oh, really?
Is I think a really big deal
Yeah,
too.
you're
I think that
right.
makes
You're
the matchup
right.
that much cooler as well. That it's really a complete re-one for them.
Yeah.
And Fisher are really trying to show up here. But Northwood, they're gonna want to keep that title up against them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. That tournament and that game probably solidifies the fact that Northwood is able to win internationally.
Yep.
We know the US team is so solid going into that event. So, yeah, all that glory forgotten about. Now the revenge, the chance to get it back as they storm their way hallway. Northwood not letting that timeout mean anything. Dora able to find a free Ferbspa. Sitting on that Rolling Thunder. 2 players to cross. Oh, just barely. Dip gets caught by that. But it leads the rest of the post plant to still very much be unholstered. They've got chances to make things happen here.
I really love that Rolling Thunder. It just completely delays that push too. Now Logan has a sliver of an angle to catch Dip as he tries to escape while the spike is traveling across that zip line, right? Logan knows that he's got Dip cornered right now. It's a play. They're playing a game of chicken.
This is in your head moment for Logan. He's had at least 5 of these opportunities, and he's been at a low percentage of converting them. Dip knows he's stuck. Rest of the team gonna come drop. They can spam this op out and get him out of trouble. It's a matter of getting here. No one's really holding draw, or Dory, excuse me, is on that angle. Logan has picked it up onto Dip, so everything goes in the favor of the defensive here. They've got that numbers advantage, and they've got all of site control.
Benji, I mean, they've got money in the bank now, so why not try to whittle down this buy into the next round there for the side of Fisher? Isolating these 1v1s, though, is going to be pretty much impossible. Fisher College, they know they got to carry these weapons into the next round. Going to play really, really passive. Finally, that 11th board, Fisher College, they break the seal.
Come out the timeout. Not letting Northwood get on that 8-round run as they've seen prior. They'll just tie for 6 in a row, and that will put them back in the driver's seat of this one. One more gun round to solidify control. Northwood going to buy into this one. A max loss bonus should give them another buy into next round. So this one goes either way. It's not out the woodwork just yet, but it's definitely getting close.
Really neck and neck. Right now, Logan back posted up here in towards A main. Burbs nades for nades here into Arcade. Tried to clear out tower, but actually can't claim the space off of it.
Benji going to pick up the first. Clork drops the rocket, and everybody scurries, gets away from that one as quick as possible. And no one even takes AoE damage from that rocket. Everybody's safe. And Clork now known about as well into tower. Northwood going to try to stack this up and take it together. Dips wallbang, enough to find it early. Don't even need util to take that one away. Bricksader will have a late trade onto the secondary duelist. Dip now going to head forward. Nobody on this site for Fisher. They've got to play retake. They've got an orbital strike if they want to throw it here.
Yeah, just to delay. You got to try to tap that early. It does get expended out. Flank impending as well here for NU, but look at the spike right now. Potentially get caught off guard. There is a trip to watch and delay, but Darkus isn't looking every single time. Ali with 2 at the very least, and it's a 1v3. Northwood still with an advantage.
Sue's going to pick up one, back into his cage. Has another 1v1 on the way. Ali's farther down. His angle's too deep. He can't trade, doesn't need to. Dip will have it just barely on the shallow angle. It's 10-11.
Both teams double digits now. It's a race to match point at this time. And Fisher College, the race is looking rough. Their money is in the gutter at the moment.
Do they buy into this round?
They buy up this round because you've got the Blade Storm online. You've got enough for 3 rifles into this. And then Cloric, I love the play to go with that close range rep in because he's the player mostly just hopping in there right away. Logan, very much so, playing a bit farther back, playing more for the trade off of Cloric instead.
It's been the call. Logan's Blade Storm has had value. They are storming the back of a hallway right now. There's going to be a pinch on the way. What does Northwood do to answer this one? Tuzi shut them down in the front with utility. Dark is going to try to give them a space onto Rafter. Dip looking deep. And Dory's recognized, I don't need this space. I'm not going to take this space. Has backed up far enough. They have to walk into their crosshair instead.
This is a great pivot, though. I would be interested to see if Northwood maybe tries to take into CT because Benji's down, nothing to watch with those trips, and Dip is looking for something here in towards tower. 4v4 situation. Contact about to be had here. Dory is holding below health.
Oh! So low HP and still able to do that damage onto Dip. Now 2 players will make their way towards hallway. Northwood have the site control. That's all they have. The push towards sand on its way. Clork gonna pick up the first. Both duelists make it out of that one, and they still have that breach alive thanks to that first fight, which means Dory has all this retake utility to send into this one. Ali gonna pick up one. First by another. And right now, Northwood have the advantage. They have the health bar advantage as well. Very low HP is that breach as before mentioned. Darkus has Cloric, and it's all up to a 20 HP Dory. He finds one, and a shorty will find the trade. It's 11-11. We are tied up, and Fisher College are trying to find what they can on this economy.
This is the round. This is the round to find that match point here for NU early on before Fisher College has that opportunity being on this broken bye. We'll have to play for OT instead, most likely, unless they can find some sort of insane conversion coming out from Fisher. Otherwise, though, this round, likely all Northwood, just guns aside.
This Arcade to play as a unit here, looking for that split 3-2 to head into the B site. Been very successful on it throughout this attacking side, hoping to do so yet again. Fisher on this eco won't even give them a close contact peek. They've got room in a site. Post plant going to be on its way.
Yeah, just going to play for that full retake situation, maybe even play for some exit frags. I'm not entirely sure, but the first blood into the hands of Dip here. Darkest going for that plant. You've got that orbital strike online as well. So many ultimates online here for the side of Northwood University. Unlikely to be expended here to earn that match point, considering the player advantage that they've gotten as well here. For Fisher, it's about getting as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Northwood player advantage, money to rebuy in the next round. Logan going to see what he can do for his team. Garners the one a second, picked up as well off this Sheriff. As First grabs 2 back from Tower. His teammates away, does have a rifle here. 2 Cloudburst in about 25 seconds. Just really makes some magic happen. No one giving anything. The discipline from Northwood here. We will not squander this. A third for Logan now. Would have to stick this spike, not an opportunity. Ali has it. It's match point. It's series point. It's CECC point for Northwood.
Last time, we took it all the way to map number 3 here between Fisher College and Northwood. And this time, Northwood's trying to go out in style and end it in that 2-0, saying we don't even need to drop a map here in the grand finals of this series. With the matchup of the year. And look at that cult economy. Kat, I would be terrified if I was Fisher College, because Northwood have legitimately every single piece of utility possible.
And they'll pull out all the stops into this one. First, a rocket out as soon as the Swan Walls are dropped. Didn't find its value. This Rolling Thunder has hit 2. Looking to take this arcade spot. No time wasted. A flash went to push them forward. 2 players stuck on this closed box. They have to find frags here. This orbital strike has forced them away. They're in a predicament as Sally's going to pick up 2. The numbers advantage now, Arcade. Dory going to try to shoot them back into even numbers. Can't do so. First for another. 2 players left on this board for Fisher College.
Anything can happen, though. Still going to have that neural theft. Bodies might be hot enough to get it down. The flank coming in from Logan does cut it into a 2v3. And you've got Ferbs extremely low. Dip looking for the frag, but you got to play together. Don't get the 1v1s in this situation. And the plant still yet to go down. Ali finally looking for the stick.
Plant's down. Northwood 1 post plant away from lifting Commissioner's Cup trophy. Now just 1 frag. They've silenced the demons. They've seen this before. They went to map 3 in Atlanta, and they could not finish the job. Is today a chance to rewrite history? Dip has turned just as the cross. Now back into the angle. Blade Storm out. Logan still into this peak. Going to be caught by a pinch. That comes from Spawn. That comes from Tower. Looking to have this spike in his Cloudburst. Has done just that. Back into the angle. You gotta hit some big shots here, son, if you want to win this out. There's the first. Back into the Cloudburst. Both Blade Storms online, and Dip will take it home. 13-11, Northwood University are your Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup champion here in Arlington, Texas.
What a way to run things back. The last time, the last map was a 13-11 win as well there for Northwood. And what a way to do it. They're pulling on our heartstrings in these matchups too. The fact that it's just so momentous for either side. Very rarely the opportunity for that back and forth. And both these teams very much so shining on their attack.
Yeah, absolutely so. The battle of the North, the battle of the East, both these teams dominant in their region. It's seed 1, 2, and then seed 6. When you look at this bracket, these guys are so far above the rest of their competition, and Northwood just that extra inch here today.
What a way to do it. First place title here for Northwood, and we love the sportsmanship, too, that we're seeing on screen, right? Got to get those fist bumps out after some nice GGs here for CECC Made Madness presented by Texas North. And I got to get, like, your overall thoughts on this series here, Kat.
Incredible. I mean, the discipline from both of these teams to be in these big, heart-stopping moments and still not move a muscle. We never saw overheats for the most part of this series, incredibly disciplined, incredible reads from both of these IGLs all the way through, incredible synergy from these rosters who have been together the longest by far when it comes to all of collegiate. And the fact that they're able to walk into this rivalry and be this competitive, to face these demons and answer the challenges head on is so impressive.
But we also got to flip back over towards the Fisher side. Just give this team a little bit more time to gel. Again, they have 2 new players heading into this roster right this past semester, and they're still showing up against Northwood. The scorelines were tight. You can't deny that factor. I'm looking forward to seeing if this Fisher College roster does stick together going into the next time that we might see them, because at the end, there is that, that potential as far as just keeping things close, keeping things competitive, maybe taking it to a third match next time.
Yeah, and this is the future of Valorant, both collegiate and otherwise. I cannot wait to see the careers of these players, but for now, let's throw it down to our winners and let's see them hoist a big old trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to crown your champions, please welcome to the stage to present the Commissioner's Cup, Chief Operating Officer of CSMG, Ray Katz, and Casey Benner from Xbox.
Big thank you to Casey Benner and Microsoft Xbox for sponsoring the CECC 2023 Valorant Championship and PC Game Pass Trophy. And congratulations to Northwood University on your championship here at 2023 May Madness. Thank you to all for participating and making this an amazing event. Casey would like to say a few words.
Thank you. Yeah, we at Xbox are so excited to pronounce this award because PC Game Pass does offer Valorant. With that being said, Northwood University, please come up and get your trophy for a 2-0 sweep.
Good job.
Yep. I want to get a few pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your CECC 2023 Valorant champions with an impressive 2-0 sweep, gentlemen. How you feeling?
We're feeling pretty great. Huge comeback on Fracture. Very excited. First time playing Fracture.
That sounds really good. First time, right? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Yeah.
And you?
Feeling good. We're just having some fun.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
We had to get first this time. We got second last year, but we got it.
We call that a redemption story. We call that a redemption story in the business. We're just waiting for the MVP report really quick. We have our analysts voting on it, and then we will grab one of you for an MVP interview. So go ahead, head back to your chairs, grab your peripherals. All right, folks, it looks like your MVP for your Valorant champion is Ferbsa. Could I get Ferbsa on the stage, please? Congratulations on your MVP award nomination. I just want to know, how is the Northwood program? Are you happy to be there? I mean, you're a very skilled player. Are they capitalizing on your talent?
Yeah, I'm always happy to show up. I mean, these are my brothers, and I love playing with them. It's always so fun.
That's a really good attitude and a lot of humility coming from somebody who is now the collegiate best Valorant player in the United States that we know of. There could be a 12-year-old out there somewhere giving you a run for your money. But my next question, are you planning on going pro?
Yeah, always. I've been planning for like 2 years to go pro.
Yeah. Okay, and how many years of school do you have left, just for anybody who's looking to sign or snipe you?
I got 2 years left.
All right, what degree are you going for?
A business management degree right now.
Nice, that's a good one. Any shout-outs, any thank yous, anybody you'd like to say a nice word to before we go?
I just want to give a shout out to my team. I mean, they keep the mental up and they stay positive, and that's how we win.
I love that. Shout out to the boys, and thank you so much. Congratulations on being the MVP, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. We are actually going to go back to the desk, and then we will be returning with another incredible series. Thank you guys so much.
What a series. What a phenomenal performance from Northwood. The 2-0 sweep. I guess I was wrong, so it seems. I don't know how that happened. But an amazing performance specifically by Ferbsa, the MVP. Obviously, with the performance he put on, fragging out of his mind. Goppers, what exactly did he put down in the server that made him so good?
Listen, I mean, already when you're looking at Ferbsa, I would say, listen, to me, Ferbsa is the MVP. Because when you're looking at the frags, when you're looking at the impact, they played off of everyone's util to a T. But if we're looking at somebody else here, I do want to bring our attention over to the one and only Darkest. I mean, listen, we talk about the duelist being the fragger. We talk about the duelist being the most important. But one of the things we also have to talk about is just the pure impact that Darkest had playing on that breach. It's not an easy game. It's not an easy feat. And it's not easy to know where these players are going to be a lot of the time. And looking at round 16, if we're going to look back at, you know, the Rolling Thunder, we saw it was a double pinch to come through. Some players coming down through drop. And then Darkest coming over towards door to play that flank just so this could work out to a perfect extent. And it's that level of gameplay that led this team to that victory spot.
It took a long while for them to get there. It was a strong performance from the beginning from Fisher College. I mean, Artie, what was happening that Fisher was able to put down the beatdown?
Well, we kind of heard a little bit of a segment of it on stage, and that was Northwood openly admitting that they don't play Fracture. However, Cats, hopefully my voice is like somehow reaching you in the other hallway in the other room. Perhaps your ears are itching, but bro, you lied to us a wee bit, because I mean, you said both teams hard dodge this. No, this was, yeah, Northwood is like, Fracture not so much. Fisher, however, was like, this is a map we're not going to show our strats on. We're not really going to let other teams see it because this is our ace in the hole. We're going to be the team to force Northwood onto an actual map 3. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out in their favor. What was normally considered a defensive-heavy map ended up being the undoing for the side of Fisher, because defense, they got eviscerated by Northwood.
And there was also another piece of the puzzle that allowed Fisher to have a real strong presence, and I believe that was in Logan, Chixa.
Yeah, absolutely. Logan, I had noticed from our very first match in the day, he was playing a Sentinel in Sage, and he was getting a lot of frags, a lot more than I would ever expect. But then when it came down to it, he switched onto the Jet, was absolutely demolishing with Jet, as well as utilizing that op. He was, I think, just the X factor that Fisher needed at the point. But then, you know, they just kind of toppled at the end of the day, and the util usage, especially on the side of Northwood, really ended up giving them that advantage over time. I was really impressed. Logan gave it his all. He almost clutched at that very last play, very last round we saw, but just couldn't end up pulling it out, and valiant effort to him on the side of Fisher.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just wondering, what exactly do you think was the cause for this major, major turnaround that allowed for a Northwood comeback after the 9-3 first half, Artie?
9-3 curse. I called it. I didn't believe me. I called it. It's real. We've seen it now twice, at least.
It's a good thing we're not looking at the desk right now. Artie is not happy.
Look, okay, so the one thing, well, yeah, Logan absolutely popped. I wish we'd seen Logan on a duelist from the very beginning. It's just, it's one thing to trade, but it's another thing to facilitate your team, not only giving intel, not only taking a duel and being victorious, but understanding your engagements and making sure that your trade is more, it's not just a trade. You're going down, you're taking 2 down with you. You're getting 1 extremely low, and there's someone to follow up on that trade with you.
True, I think looking back at that, Cloric, who, you know, was putting up numbers similar to what Ferbsa was able to do, but Ferbsa was staying in the game. They weren't getting traded out. Cloric was the king of one and done, getting 1 kill and then kind of falling out. Gompers,
yeah.
Thoughts on that one?
It was hard. I'm going to be honest with you. There were so many faults that I thought I saw with Fisher College, and it didn't feel like they were playing to their best of their ability. They picked a map like Fracture because they knew they could play well on Fracture. But playing well isn't all that's a game like Valorant. You need to have adaptations. You need to know not only how to play the game, but how to counter the players playing the game. We saw so much impact off that breach, but I'm going to be honest, it shouldn't have happened. There shouldn't have been a moment like that. We're looking at, if you guys want to go all the way back, right? Take a look at round 18, right? Darkest getting an op pushback. That round that should not have been theirs. That should have been early contact off the start. But what util is there to deny any sort of utility coming from Darkest? Absolutely nothing. They're sitting in the middle of a choke point, waiting for a pick to happen. That's not going to happen. No way is that going to happen. Not to mention, there were so many crossholds that I saw in the entry down towards B main, where you have two people watching an angle. Next thing you know, Darkest comes through with the fault line. I mean, this is stuff that has been happening ever since the beginning of the attacking half on Northwood, and they did absolutely nothing. No util that I saw expended in the early rounds of the game while they were pushing, except they just accepted their fate at that point.
Yeah, a lack of true reactions coming out from this team. Fisher College, I wouldn't say exactly disappointed in this matchup, but it certainly didn't live up to the hype, the ominous reputation, the dangerous presence that they have within the collegiate Valorant scene. And we were just left wondering, what happened? How did we get to this point? And you could definitely point out to the utility usage, but you could also just look at what Ferb saw. And Ali on the controller, putting up 35 throughout that series. Just beautiful stuff in general. I think cohesion with the team, cohesion in the utility and the set pieces. You got to chalk it up. Northwood deserved the title as greatest collegiate team in the world.
That orbital strike was so gorgeous. I mean, we lost it over here on desk as soon as it got procced. We saw the circle, and I was like, oh no, they're going to get out right. No, 2 got barbecued.
Yeah, set pieces like that created the perfect environment, the perfect storm for Northwood to close this out into. I was definitely expecting a 3-mapper for this finals, but certainly not to be the case. But I would have to agree with my saucy prediction. It's got to be Honey. But Gompers, before we finish out the rest of our flavorful ideas, what do you got for us?
Well, I got permission to do this, so I am going to do this. It is my little sister's birthday today, and I know she's watching right now. She just got first place in a cheer competition in Florida. So, Sammy, if you're watching this, I love you so much. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sammy. Everyone else say it.
Happy birthday.
Everyone in the arena.
Happy birthday.
A happy birthday, a saucy birthday. I hope it is sweet like honey, just like the final series in the Valorant Collegiate Esports.
I weaved in my Taggy barbecue with that orbital strike, all right?
Okay.
I'd say it was pretty sweet and sour. We had some pretty sweet moments, but there were some pretty sour plays at that end too, that 9-3.
How many showstoppers did we see that didn't result in any kills?
Yeah, same thing with those
Zoning
blade
ult.
storms.
Zoning ult.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, there were so many brimstone ults that I was like, mwah. That was gorgeous.
The spirit of Subrosa is with us here in
God.
Arlington today. An undefeated run for Northwood University, but that is going to wrap it up. You can see the team, the boys, enjoying their pose with the trophy on the bracket. That's 2 Northwood championships running it up here at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Fisher hoping for a second. It is denied, but they have another chance coming up in the Overwatch block. But again, we're going to check that out in just a few moments. But before we go, Chixa, thank you so much for joining us here on the desk.
I know, you're going to have to pull me off the desk because I'm off on Overwatch. This is it for me. So I just want to say thank you, of course, to everybody that participated in the tournament, all of the collegiate players. Collegiate holds my heart. I just literally graduated in December. So it's pretty amazing to see the players out here playing and me continuing to be a part of the community. Of course, thank you to my amazing talent. You're all so incredible to work with. Everybody here in the CNews, wonderful production, our sponsors. There's way too many people to shout out, but what better than a first LAN for me than this one here? It is an incredible experience overall. So just much thanks to me. I will certainly be around watching. I cannot not watch that Overwatch final. But thank you so much, of course, to everybody.
Jixa, you are a gem. Thank you for joining us on the desk. But we're going to head to a quick break. And when we return, the final matchup of the night, it's Overwatch Grand Finals here at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup, presented by McDonald's of North Texas.